Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Not Your Average Netizens. I am Nat and I'm joined by the lovely Jimin and Ash.
Mahal
Hello.
kita. Actually, I'm pretty sure that's not how you say hello in. Is it okay? Let me not. You know what? Let me not get to lying about what languages sound like. Because like sometimes you don't even know how to pronounce the name of the language. So let me not even set myself up for that. But hello to all the fans and the fans, the list. I've been listening, watching way too much like K-pop stuff. Hello to all the listeners in the Philippines. I'm trying to speak to you.
Oh, you mean is it Tagalog? Is that how you say it?
I don't know how to say it. That's why I don't want to be
Yeah,
disrespectful. It's
because
like
there's like
Tagalog or Tagalog.
yeah, it's I think you have to be Filipino to say it properly. Or like know the accent,
Oh,
I guess maybe. Yeah, because that's how like I used to have a coworker who was from the Philippines and actually I think I've always had coworkers from the Philippines. We get a lot of like Filipino people in Toronto specifically. A lot of them are nurses and stuff. And like I've always kind of like worked with a lot of them and they would always say what language they speak and I honestly the way that they say I could never repeat it. I'm sorry. Please, listeners, let us know how to pronounce it properly so we don't embarrass ourselves. Thank you.
yes.
But yes, we are here once again to talk about all of the fun and some not so fun things going on in the world of the Korean entertainment. And yeah, I mean, I don't even. Monday was a big day, and every day this week has been something new in this ongoing war within HYBE and its labels. So I don't even know what to say at this point. But we will start as always with what we're listening to. So what are you guys listening to?
I listened to some K-pop today.
Ah,
On a K-pop podcast? No, you didn't.
I listened to some K-pop in my own time, and yeah, it was nice. I listened to actually it was some remixes of songs. So I listened to some like rock remixes of like "I Am" by Ivy and "Do Not Touch," and I have to say they go hard. Those songs make pretty good rock songs. So yeah, so that's basically. And I listened to Ariana Grande's new album and was not that impressed. Her best album is still Dangerous Woman. So there's that.
What's the leader of Nirvana called? I forgot the front man. I
Kurt
forgot his
Cobain.
name. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Keep
did you
going.
listen?
Y'all can keep going.
I was
Yep.
like, what are you listening to?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Oh, y'all. It's just honestly all K-pop lately, to be honest. I've been obviously listening to some Beyonce, but beyond that, literally I was addicted to TXT's album after we did our like album review of the recent album. Check that out on Patreon if you haven't already. And then but to be really honest with you, besides TXT and NCT Wish, which I'm gonna listen to them anyway.
Mhm.
I've been really getting into RIIZE, and they have music where it's like when you first hear it, you like, what the like, so like not the recent releases, but the older releases, you like, this is kind of, I don't know who this is for, but there's some sort of addictive quality to it. And I'm just like, now I can't stop, you know. If you want something to play with, get a guitar. Like, ugh, I hate it. I can't wait till we talk about Impossible that just was released. So yeah, that's what I've been listening to. Impossible on literally repeat. And and a little bit of other Rise and K-pop.
Okay. I
Oh, also wait, Ash, you weren't here, but Nat introduced me to Girls' Generation. And we
Yes.
listened
Oh.
to So Ane Mareva.
Ah.
Yes.
That's my favorite Girls' Generation song, I think.
Me
Classic.
too. I mean, it's like one of the only
Classic.
ones I know, but you know. Anyway.
Well, what have I been listening to? Obviously Beyonce. You know, even when I'm not listening to Beyonce, I sometimes have like Tyrant and like Daughter playing in like it's just in my head. Like I don't know. It's just that album is Cowboy Carter, a classic, an instant classic in my opinion. I
Did
like I
you
said, if
listen to
I'm
Taylor
not
Swift?
I tried. It was
Did you
hard.
did you see them lyrics?
I
Do you know what lyrics I'm
did.
talking about?
She wants to be back in 1830 without the racism. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
I mean,
I
how
just
do
mentioned
you?
Taylor Swift because they're really, really trying so hard to make this a competition when it's not.
Yeah, I just it's like when I see like when sometimes you're on YouTube and they recommend certain videos and you think like, oh, this might be like a very fair, balanced video on like what's wrong with the world today. And it easily ends up being like a weird white supremacist video halfway through because you realize that a lot of things that they talk about that they miss are things where black people were just like not people. And they don't seem to understand why that makes their videos like not applicable to anybody who is not them. I feel like that's what Taylor Swift is, to be quite honest. Like she, is so white that she just like can't see outside of herself to think about what would a black fan who like wants to listen to her talk about how the 1830s were like a great time, like a fantastic time. And then they look back at their own history and they're like, "Oh, so even like you can't even remove the racism from a lot of these countries in the 1830s because it's so much a part of what made their society their society."
I mean, frankly, the 1830s were not too kind to women in general
Right.
either,
Mhm.
so that kind of just
Well,
torpedoes
you
her.
know, you know that with all this pushback on DEI, the people who are going to be most affected by it are white women. So, because they were the ones who most benefited from affirmative action as well. Like, I don't know. I'm just like I tried like I do like some Taylor Swift songs. I'm not even gonna be a person who's like she sucks. She doesn't make any good music. Blah 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 blah. I do like I play Cardigan like I wrote that song. Back to December, fantastic. You know, but her music lately, I don't know if it's because she's been pumping it out so frequently, but I feel
Mhm.
like the quality has dropped a lot. Like, I think you need time between eras. You know what I mean? You need to like actually be able to write at your peak. And I think if you're just pumping out music like this is K-pop, like especially when you're so hands-on on everything that you do, I think it's hard to maintain a certain level of quality. Personally, that's how I
Mhm.
think about it. And I mean, I feel like since like Evermore, I feel like she hasn't really dropped anything that was that memorable. Like back in the day, like Red and even that like Look What You Made Me Do or Shake It Off. I feel like she had a hit in every one of those albums because there was breaks
Mhm.
between the albums. I think lately she hasn't had any breaks, so I feel like there's no real hits on any of these albums. They're just
Mm.
there. I don't know. It's weird.
Agreed.
But anyways,
Yes.
yeah. That's I haven't listened to the whole Taylor Swift album, Poets Society, whatever the hell it is called, but I did start it. It was boring. I turned it off. I'll
Mhm.
probably go back to it just to see if I like the rest of it. I did not listen to Ariana Grande. I've never really been a huge Ariana Grande fan.
I like some of her stuff. I'm
I
I
like,
feel like
do.
she's talented,
Yes.
and it gives me like a lot of like weird like it's like she's talented, but I can't get into her. But I
Right.
can recognize that like she can probably out sing most of the girlies in her like peer group.
not
Right.
hard.
Right. No, absolutely. And like
That's a
No
good
Tears Left
gosh.
to Cry, my favorite song from her. That and Breakthrough or Break Free. And also was it One Last Time?
Hmm.
Those are like I think the three songs from her that I really, really, really love. But like I've never really been a big fan of her stuff either. Surprisingly, I know like a lot of people be hating and I understand it, whatever, whatever. But I actually did not think the Justin Timberlake album was that bad. There are a lot of songs. There are like not a lot, but like four songs on there that I actually did save to my playlist that I've gone back to and I'm like, yeah, these are good songs. Like I understand because of Britney and him being a white man, I guess, like people just have problems. The Janet Jackson stuff. I completely understand that. I just don't think he makes bad music all the time. Just
I've never been able to like I recognize that he had hit music and some of it like mostly due to Timbaland
yes.
was good, but I never really got into him like that.
Future Sex Love Sound, literally one of the best albums ever created on the history of this planet. I can listen to that album from top to bottom. Instant classic. Just it's good. It's just a good album. I wasn't a huge fan of the 2020 experience. and that Man in the Woods that everybody called like the white man's lemonade. Like I was not a big fan of
Bro,
it
what
either.
the? I'm about to.
You didn't
I'm
see?
literally about to put in my resignation notice on this podcast. I don't know. Y'all be exposing me
So
to all kind of stuff.
you like basically he came when he came out with Man in the Woods. It was like this this impersonal look at his life, and it was a deep dive into what he's doing. It was very visually based, and like he was wearing a lot of cardigans outside, and like that's why people were calling it that, because Beyonce makes a trend and everybody's on it. Like it's just the thing that happens, right? But even that album had a couple of good songs on it. He had a song with Chris Stapleton, "Say Something," fantastic. One of the greatest songs that has been released in the last 10 years, my opinion. Chris Stapleton, though, obviously is fantastic and wonderful, and don't sleep on him either. But yeah, I don't know. I just I feel like people like, if you say that you like Taylor Swift songs, sometimes I think people get weird about it. Or if you like an Ariana Grande song, people get weird about it. Or you like
Oh, the first time I revealed in public that I liked a Taylor Swift song, a Swiftie literally sniffed me out and was like, "Let's be best friends and tell me everything you know about Taylor Swift." And I was like, I just like some of her songs.
yeah.
I didn't indicate that I was a stan."
Yeah, no, I mean, I do think that there is, I understand why people like her. I really do understand why people like her. I've done karaoke to her songs before. It's fine. Just, when we actually, okay, anybody on our Patreon, we're definitely going to do a stan versus fan sort of discussion, because I think that that kind of touches on that. You know what I mean? Like, people who are passionate can be subjective and objective at the same time. But then there's people who are a little bit crazy, who are like, oh, you like this one song from this one person, you need to tell me everything about that person and about yourself, and I need to make sure that we're best friends forever. Here's my PayPal, let's go to a concert. I think that would be like a really interesting conversation, talking about fandom cultures. But also too, just talking about Justin Timberlake and how people perceive him and his wiggerness. If we're talking old school conversations about Justin Timberlake, we will be getting to that a little bit later with some XG conversations as well too. I like how things are kind of just connected, in this discussion about what we're listening to, because I think the same thing that I feel sometimes about Justin Timberlake is definitely going to be applicable to XG and their diss tracks. I think they're calling them that we'll be listening to a little bit later.
You know what? I want to say something before I just have to. I want to comment on. I want to make sure the listeners know we are not shaming anybody for wanting to make friends within this space and be passionate about something. It's more so Swifties are, I think, they're really not healthy for other people. I think the level of dedication and devotion they have to Taylor Swift surpasses K-pop stans and even armies, and it gets to the point where I feel like whenever I have an interaction with the Swiftie, I walk away feeling indoctrinated in something against my consent. So
Yeah.
it's just know the line.
Yeah.
Read the room, know the line is the whole moral of that. But I am interested to understand like Nat was saying on Patreon, where do we draw that line between stan and fan, and what is an acceptable behavior from there?
Right, yeah. No, we like when people are passionate about things. We just don't want them to cross the line into making people uncomfortable. I've literally heard of friendships breaking up because somebody wasn't as into a group as the other person was anymore. Vacations being ruined, being bullied off the internet.
I don't know if you remember that viral post that was going around. I know it was on Thai drama Twitter where it came from K-pop Twitter where people were like, "How are y'all mutuals with people who don't like your faves?" And it ended up on Thai drama Twitter because, as you know, there's here lately Thai drama actors have been really in the news, specifically Bright, because he just revealed his relationship with Nini.
Relationship.
I think her name is Nini. Anyway, I love that for Bright. I think I've always said Bright is really attractive. And I don't know nothing about this man's personality, but I know that a face like that should not be single. But basically people were saying like you can roast my fave if it's Bright or if it's First, or y'all don't know any of these Thai actors, but if it's, this Thai actor, Nunu or whoever, you can roast them as much as you want. I don't care, because at the end of the day, we're real life friends. Like me and my mutuals, we're real life friends. I don't know Bright, kind of thing. So I just mentioned that to say very interesting little piece
Yes.
of information.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hmm.
All right, let us get to the poll then. What is the
Okay,
poll?
can I say the poll?
Yes.
Wait, this is my section, so I can say the
Wait,
poll.
Jimin. But
Um,
yes.
okay. So this week poll, we are being very messy, but I do want to say, hi, don't sue us. We've done nothing wrong. Actually, you can't sue us, but don't sue us because this is all just based on vibes. Okay? The poll for this week is, in the big HYBE versus Min Heejin drama, whose side are you on? Are you a Min Hee Jin truther? A. B. Are you a hype truther, meaning Bang PD and I think his name is, what's his name, Lee Jiwon, the CEO, all of them? Are you a hype truther? Are you on the side of the hype idols, the poor hype idols who are just being used as pawns in the divorce between Min Hee Jin and Bang PD? Or are you one of the petty SM and YG stands who keep saying could never happen to Blackpink, could never happen to EXO, could never happen to NCT? Let us know. I can tell y'all whose side I'm on. And to be honest with you, I would have to do a write in on this one because I'm kind of on, like, I'm only on the side of the people who are victims in this situation, not entire categories of people. Like, I don't think every single Hive idol is being like used as a pawn, right? But New Jeans definitely is, right? And those are all babies. So I wish them the best, and whatever's in their best interest is great. Also, since there were accusations that Min Hee Jin was trying to sabotage Rise and Espa, I've not, other than Giselle, I've heard nothing bad about Espa. Rise, we hear something bad about them every week, but it's not actually bad. It's just K-pop bad. And so it's like I do feel bad for them because the allegations, as we'll discuss later, are, seriously like, people are trying to sabotage these groups. And a lot of these groups are very young, or they're rookie groups, or they're just, let's just be honest, more talented than all the hype groups. So it's just 17 fans don't come for me. I didn't mean them. I personally am just team the people who are actual victims in the situation. What about you all? Are y'all taking sides in this? Who are you rooting for to win?
I'm team no one.
Okay, you can't cheat like I did.
Yeah, no, I think it would definitely have to be a write-in for me as well. I mean, I do feel some empathy for the idols themselves who are being used as pawns in this, especially like the ones that, because Hybe literally admitted that they media played for New Jeans to prove that they weren't favoring Lee Seraphim. And then people were just like, okay, so you do media play and you do, like get favorable treatment for idols that you like or that you want to benefit off of, and yet here's like poor Promise Nine, always forgotten. G-Friend was
Yeah.
disbanded, New East was disbanded. Like there's no way that I could ever side with any of the people, these executives, these conglomerates, these businesses, because they're all shit. And it's not just HYBE, it's like JYPE, obviously SME, YGE, Cube
Obviously
Collective,
YG.
Stardom, like all of these companies, like their whole job is to exploit children. Like, let's be real. So for
You didn't
entertainment
wait.
purposes,
Allegedly.
allegedly, but like that's their
We have to
whole
say
like,
allegedly.
yeah, that's allegedly what they do. So I can't root for them. And I would write in and be like, listen, I feel bad for the kids. I feel bad for people, some of these groups that were caught, like, unfortunately, and just like in the crossfire of whatever's going on in the boardroom and things like that. See, I don't, this is why we should not have conglomerates.
Yeah,
Like,
no, and companies should not be like in Korea, those entertainment companies are all like horizontally integrated. They should
right,
not be integrated. Like your agent shouldn't be and your manager shouldn't be the same person as your label because the conflict of interest is right there, you know?
right. And also too,
And
like, executives should not be just making music choices. Like, I think
bruh,
it
when we gotta talk about that. When she
like
was like, Bang PD be in the studio, I was like,
but even we did
okay.
the Baby Monster album review, and the worst songs on the album were the ones that YG had worked on. Like, we just need you not to
That's
be here.
true. Wait, okay, we definitely got to talk about Baby Monster and YG being very petty in this very, very sensitive and serious time. But we'll talk about that later. Yes.
Right, right. So yes, those are our opinions on this poll. Let us know what you think when it's out, when it's, this episode has been released and has been put out, and Ash has put out the poll. Let us know what you think, if it's a write-in as well, or if you do have a side that you would like to choose and why. Let us know why, guys.
Yes.
So we are gonna get into comebacks slash debuts. I don't think there's any debuts on this though, so it's just comebacks.
That's shocking.
We're gonna start with Zico featuring Jennie, Jennifer Kim herself,
Yes.
and
I just saw Jenny this morning.
aw,
Jenny's was at the S17 concert too. We love
yeah,
it.
I did see that. She's honestly been living her best life since they renewed their contracts and they've just kind of done like the solo thing for a bit.
Hmm.
Like, I actually believe her album's gonna come out more than Normani at this point, to be honest. So Zico has literally been wanting to work for Jennie for like years. So I feel like
He's been
as
wanting
soon
to do
as
what with Jenny?
he's wanted to work with her, so I
I
feel
feel
like
like it's kind of an obvious collab, but at the same
yeah,
time, not. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
I get why they collab, but I also feel like I don't look at Jenny as a singer. I've always said that though.
yeah.
I also really love how Jenny's like the only female idol that can be next to a man and like nobody really blinks at it. Thank you, Queen,
Yeah,
for normalizing these interactions. We love it.
especially with the fact that she is also dated idols in the industry. Like, you'd think that that would make her more susceptible to dating rumors or like that kind of bad energy,
But it doesn't. She's
right?
just get into Jenny if you haven't already. Like
I think what I like most about this, like, I mean, the song is not like that great in my opinion,
it's not
and I mean, I like
iconic,
Zico's
yeah.
music for the most part, so it's just not a Zico song for me, anyways. What I do like about it is like Jennie looks really happy and she looks really healthy and she's just having a good time. I
She
feel like,
has been looking to me happy lately. Like I saw her, she did some variety with Yeonjun. She
yeah,
just looked like she was enjoying herself, and I was like, "Yes, baby girl, enjoy yourself." I'm saying baby girls if she's not like older than me, but still,
yeah. I think there's something about when you're with YG and the way that like they kept them in the basement, like literally when they're not producing music, the only time they're allowed out of the basement is like tomato. You know what I mean? So I think
yeah,
there's a lot of times that they really wanted to make music and they just didn't get a chance to.
yeah, I agree. So I did see a joke the other day that was like, "Wait, since Blackpink only has 5 songs, does that mean they're still technically a rookie group and they can qualify for rookie awards?" I was like, "Listen, whatever Blinks have to do, they'll do it."
I actually did make a joke because we were hearing that like New Jeans was dropping music, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna get another 10 minutes of songs, guys, like because they're dropping an album. I'm like, and their songs be like a minute or two. So
Ash, I wish you were here for the Baby Monster album review because that album was like literally 3 minutes long. Like I
yeah,
blinked and it was over.
Wow.
yeah,
It was good though. Like they
it was
had
good.
some bops on there.
They
Oh,
really
okay.
did. So that
Kepler
was
still making music?
so Kepler is officially disbanding this year, but this is their latest release. It's a Japanese song, but I think that this is actually one of their strongest songs. I was surprised that they came out the tail end of their career when they should have dropped it for like good music at the beginning, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But like, it's weird.
I've always said that this lane is much better for them than like
Yes,
this more like I don't want to say it's a darker concept because it's not, but
more mature, less like hip hop ish.
yeah. I mean,
Wadida, wadida. You know, like,
It is giving like Destiny's Child though a little bit, like in the verse.
yeah, it's like Destiny's Child a bit, but also like Eyes One kind of for the poppy vibe. Like,
Mm.
I think that those would have been a better lane than, yeah. But I guess
I
because they
feel like.
have, oh, sorry.
Mhm. I was just gonna say, I feel like they didn't. I know we roasted. Well, at least me, I roasted them a lot, but it's because I felt like they were not choosing the right things for them,
Right.
and it was never the girls personally. And it's just kind of crazy that they're disbanding without like even having an opportunity to show everything, you know.
Yeah, no,
But I guess that was the
absolutely.
concept to begin with. So,
Yeah. I think the problem with the group is that they basically made a group where the more engaging members are all rappers, and
mm,
but they're not like that great at rapping. So it's kind of
yeah,
like like you got like your focus is on this one thing and you're not even that good at it. And they
mm-hmm,
never really focused on the vocals when that could have
mm-hmm.
been like a highlight. So yeah,
Jesus, I know I shouldn't do this every time, but Kai's sister, it is creepy how much they look alike. They're
like
like
twins,
not
right?
even twins.
I know.
Like, not
Yeah.
that fraternal twins ever look like, but you know what I mean.
Right, right.
Also, thank you to Beyonce for reminding me that she had twins because I definitely forgot until I listened to Cowboy Carter.
I've already seen like post threads on like Twitter talking about, well, since they're breaking up, guys, here's information on like what I think this top member is going to be doing next. I think one of the girls is supposed to, it was like rumored to go to XG because she's Japanese.
Ooh, that would be crazy. What is
Yeah,
she
who
gonna
is
do in
it?
there? Because I do feel like XG is already like a good enough as themselves, you know? Like I don't think they
Right.
need any more members.
Yeah. No, I think they're perfect actually, as they are right now too. But which member is it? Hikaru? Let me see if I can.
This just listening to Kepler right now just reminds me of like I have been listening to 101 again lately. The
Uh,
one song that we all know, by the way,
yes,
nothing,
energetic.
no deep cuts. And I'm like, it's kind of crazy that 101. If you wasn't there, you wouldn't understand how big they were. Like
Right.
you had to be there in 2017 to really get like they were a wall for boy groups, even competing against BTS.
We
Going
can
to Freak.
freak. Okay.
I don't know who
Honestly,
Yuki
I could not
is.
remember what we had watched. I just went by the date.
Okay, I have a song. Who? I mean, not a song. A question. Whose girl group song is it? Hit it like boom, boom, boom. Get it like boom, boom, boom.
That could be a lot of people.
Do you mean Momoland's Boom Boom?
Is that
No,
Momoland?
that's it.
No,
No,
that's not
that's
Momoland.
yeah. Okay, you'll have to ask when like this music is not playing in the background.
Yeah, I know. Well, it wasn't playing before I said
Yeah.
it, but now it's
Um,
playing. So
but yes, remember the question though. Remember it. This is Yuki Freak that we're listening to right now. Yuki is a member of Silent G Idol. If you don't know,
I don't know about these lyrics, but the song is really. I like. It's like a nice. It's a nice song. It's not for her though. She doesn't have the charisma to pull this off.
mm, yeah. I mean, it feels like it's too on trend for like what a lot of the soloists in Korea are dropping. Like if you
Hmm.
listen to like Wendy and a girl who used to be in Eyes One, or the multiple girls that used to be in Eyes One who are soloists now, like kind of like Olivia Rodriguez esque kind of stuff, you know? I don't
Hmm.
know, or Taylor Swift esque stuff.
It's really Zico coded. I don't know how to explain it, but it's
Yeah, I
Zico
can
coded
see
to
I
me.
can
him
see
doing
that
some.
too,
Yeah.
actually. But Zico would kill something like this.
Yeah, he
Like I think it
would.
would be much more catchy than it is right now.
Well, also, you have to have charisma to like, really bring it
Right.
out. And I don't think she has it. Also, is she talking about herself or her girlfriend? Because, honey, we can't tell if you're for the girls or the gays or both. We don't know.
But like Yuki actually had some songs that she released like a couple years ago that
Hmm.
were not on trend. And they were so good. Like Giant and Bonnie and Clyde, they were really good songs. But I think it's because they weren't on trend. They were just music that she wanted to release. And she produced them and did all the promotions and stuff like that in China. But
Hmm.
I know, it was like kind of disappointing when I listened to this because it was like her other stuff is so good.
Cult members by together would really kill this concept.
Yeah.
Like the song is really well made. It's just like I don't want to hear it from her. You know what I mean? All right. The next, okay, so the next song we're about to listen to is from Woojin, I think former member of Stray Kids, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. So
Um, mhm.
sorry. No, you introduce it.
Well, it's Kim Woojin's. I like it. I like the way. I haven't listened to it, but there's a very funny picture from I don't know. There's a very funny picture going around on the internet where it's like him, like and Stray Kids are on the other side. And people are saying this is really sad. And I'm like, what's sad about it? Like, wasn't he accused of like sexual assault or something crazy? Like, what's the
Yeah.
sad thing?
I can't really remember that. All I remember from him that I thought was really funny was that remember when there was that thing about going around about him having that fake company? Like he had that company and they
Oh
took
yeah,
pictures.
and he
And it
posted a
was
press
like
release as himself.
yes, yes, and it was like a fake business altogether. Like he wasn't signed to anybody.
That's so
Uh,
funny. It's such a funny scandal.
but yeah, oh, I actually totally forgot why he got kicked out of Stray Kids. To be honest,
I think it was. Please forgive me if I'm incorrect because I don't like accusing people of stuff, but I do for some reason very strongly remember that
let's see.
he did a challenge with RIIZE's Sohee, and then everybody and he was standing behind Sohee the whole time, and everybody was like, "Sohee, look behind you. There's something scary." I was just like, "What is wrong with y'all? Leave him alone." I mean, unless he did something bad, then. I mean,
Okay, well, it says both Stray Kids and Woojin never revealed the reason behind Woojin's departure. It looks like
oh,
it was just an
sorry.
announcement in 2019. Woojin has been
There wasn't no allegations.
um. Oh look. Oh wait, hold on.
I will say that he definitely thinks he's Wonho with this song.
I'm seeing bullying allegations.
Okay, so there was a sexual assault controversy from but it was from like an anonymous Twitter user, like
Oh,
on
I'm
that they
sorry.
never.
I didn't mean to spread that.
No,
Ash,
I
please take
mean,
that out.
but I mean,
Okay.
like it is something that was mentioned like in this article on him. So it's not like it's just something randomly that
It
came
came from
out.
nowhere.
Yeah, it's just really weird. It's like the member of NMIX, I think, who left. I can't remember her name, Jennie or
But
something like that.
didn't she leave for like a legit reason though?
No, like they were literally about like it just randomly came out of nowhere. Everyone assumed it was like a dating scandal, but no, like we don't know. It just happened.
Hmm. Well, you know the new allegation is that Min Hee Jin was behind it. So
I have seen
everybody who left a
so
group, it's Min Hee Jin.
many conspiracies about her and like about this whole situation. Not just about the groups that were mentioned, groups that are not even mentioned have been, you know, it's HYBE's fault.
Mm-hmm.
It's maybe he just felt like it's crazy. But this is very Wonho coded for sure.
So Wonho coded. I do want to say too. I don't know. Sorry, I lost it.
Oh, it'll come back to you.
Okay, now we are playing Doyoung's Little Light. I haven't even heard this, but here lately Doyoung has been rising up my list, rising up my list in NCT. So this is such. I feel like this is him. He
No,
for some reason I feel
absolutely
like he does these kind of songs. It's kind of like how Onu does really like slow songs for no reason.
ballads. Onu was like, I'm gonna sing a
Yeah,
ballad right now. You know me for Sherlock or something like that, where I'm dancing my heart out, but I really just want to do
I
some
just want to sing the most boring song you've ever heard.
ballad. I feel like male idols, if who are not rappers, usually have two veins. You can go the Wanho route, or you can go the Day Six route. You know what I mean? Like that's those are
Yeah,
it.
it's like you can do like the sexy Wonho Taemin, you know, I'm a whore, come use me, because that's the type of music they make. Or
Right.
you can do like the I'm the most wholesome K drama lead you've ever seen, and let me sing you a rock ballad just so you can know that.
Here's an OST right now, guys. Like that's what
Just dropping OSTs, but OSTs, I feel like maybe that's where the money is. So
yeah,
I mean,
it's true.
singers would just make their money just doing OSTs.
Right. Like that's their job. like Ben and oh shoot, what's that girl's name from YG?
I mean, I'm not even gonna hold you. I think the best like OSTs with like songs in them all come from like Japanese media.
I mean,
Personally, like anime
anime
OSTs.
OCs,
Yeah.
you know, you
Yeah.
can't really beat them though. Like that's unfair. I feel like you can't even compare them to drama stuff because I think that's very unfair.
I
Because
mean, I'm just being
yeah,
to me. If it's not an anime OST, then I only want to hear like instruments. So like a John
right.
Williams. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
Was it JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? One of their ending credits was like Jodeci.
Very.
Was it
It
Freaky
wasn't
You?
Jodeci. It wasn't Jodeci, was it? It was
What
what's the group
was
with
it?
Cisco?
Oh,
Is
Drew
that Jodeci?
Hill. Drew Hill.
Drew Hill. Right? It was Drew Hill, right?
I can't remember
I
now.
have to Google
JoJo.
it.
Me
It
too.
might
Me
be
too.
Jodeci.
Wait,
It's
they did a
part
song for
4.
JoJo's?
No, no, they used
Yeah,
one of their
no, no,
old
no.
songs.
Oh, I see.
It's part 5 ending.
Freaking You, yeah. Those are like,
It was Jodeci.
yeah, it was Jodeci, and it, like, like
Wow. I didn't even know they
It's
were
like one of the
familiar
most
with that.
iconic EDs.
every freaking night and every freaking day, I wanna freak you, baby, in every freaking way, and then like JoJo characters in the background. It's crazy.
That's so random.
We really should not listen to the last song on this. If we're gonna do a Rise reaction anyway,
Yeah,
like
no, I thought, yeah,
you know,
yeah, for sure.
or oh wait, I just sorry listeners, didn't mean to spoil that for you.
Oh yeah, Rises are featured. Hey,
We're saying that
now they have
very
something.
early in the episode.
Yeah, they have something to look forward to though.
Or if you don't like Rise, then maybe that ain't something to look forward to. But
You can end the
you shouldn't
episode
just
right
judge a
there.
book by its cover, okay?
No, we didn't when we listened to Baby Monster's album. We actually opened the book.
I'm actually kind of glad we did it because, like I said, 2 of those songs really took me back to like literally like Destiny's childhood
Yes,
era.
they were good. Like
Even though Destiny's
surprisingly.
Child was before I was a baby, but the point is, I still grew up on that. Is my point, and it
Of
took me
course.
back there, and I was shocked because, like, I remember when I was first getting into K-pop, people were like, "Oh yeah, I like it because it's nostalgic," and I'm like, "No, it's not." But I think I was getting into it when they were catching up with the trends. But now that the
Yeah.
Y2K thing is in, it's like, oh no, it is nostalgic again. So I did not pay attention to any part of this song. I'm sorry, Doyoung. You sound beautiful, but baby, I'm like Ash in this circumstance. I was very bored.
Yeah. Yeah. It was not. It was perfect for like a coffee shop. Concept photos and like why were all them
Mhm.
boys just shirtless and weird? It's very strange. Yeah.
The biracial woman, the girl, I'm assuming she's biracial because she looks mixed.
Yeah.
She reminds me of a Thai idol. There's this one Thai idol that from like a famous group.
I think one of the more crazy things that came out of this like NHJ like versus Hype thing is that I
Mhm.
literally thought that Illit was one of her groups. And now watching this video, especially after watching like Magnetic, I'm like, how are they not made by the same people?
Wait, oh, so you thought the islet was assigned to Adore.
Yeah, I thought they were like their sister group.
But see,
Well,
there's
they
also
are
now there's
technically.
copying
Technically, yeah.
allegations too because of the fact that they are so similar
Yeah,
and the fact that she felt like that was done on purpose. Like
yeah,
there's allusions to that as well. So,
yeah. No, but it makes
I
sense.
do.
Right.
It's hard for me to watch this and not comment on the fact that like I do feel like it has a clear artistic vision. Like you know what I mean? Like in a way that is very clear, but it's like this is not a compliment to Min Hee Jin. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to compliment you, girl. I'm just saying that
Yeah,
like the aesthetic is clear, like the farm animals and like even to down to the girls' haircuts. Everything seems very meticulous, and plans out. So and it's very age appropriate, all things considered.
yeah.
Considering
Well,
they are not known for that.
yeah. Well, I mean, when they came out with their first song that I can't remember the name of, I can like pitch. I'm listening, like in my head, I can hear attention. Yeah, the chorus, but I could not think of the name of the freaking song. I feel like outside of Cookie, all of their songs have been fairly age appropriate. Well, not
Cookie.
Cookie for sure wasn't, but also that other one when that model was like playing the Cupid or whatever and fell in love with somebody who's supposed to like spear with an arrow and she was naked in the video and they were watching them have sex or whatever. That was weird too. Like, you've
You
never
know
watched
what?
it?
It's well,
That
to
was
be honest
real
with you,
weird.
this is the first time I've ever, at least the first time I remember watching a New Jeans video. So I think I'm just like filtering also everything through the fact that like I already know what's going on with Min Hee Jin. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so it's hard for me to get a really fresh perspective. I just know that like I understand why people like the song. It's very easy listening, as
very.
is all of New Jeans music, and it's got an artistic. Oh, we're not supposed to listen to this yet.
Yeah, I'm muting it. I'm
Well,
sorry,
that was
pausing it.
all the comebacks, and that was a interesting. We there was. I love how in the document where we like organize everything, it just says New Jeans song. I wrote that. We do want to note that RIIZE also had a comeback with Impossible, but we will be listening to it later in the feature
Yes.
segment. But we do want to note that they not only had a comeback, but also I believe their mini album was just like released like on accident this morning. Like I don't think it's supposed, like if you look at the official release dates, it all says like June, and then RIIZE has been saying like later and later and later. So, but it was released this morning, so I don't know if that was on purpose.
I
Maybe it's Hitman Bang leaking it to take the attention off of HYBE.
maybe,
Maybe.
maybe, I don't know. But that was New Jeans. Yeah, actually the MV that I was describing was called Cool With You. And I actually really like the song, but the MV is kind of weird because once again, I'm pretty sure that model and that black dude were having sex and they were like across from the building across from them watching them while they were singing. I was like, oh, I don't know about all this. This is weird. But that was the comebacks. I don't think there was any debuts there. And we are going to listen to some XG tapes, as they're called. And there's been a lot of discussions about cultural appropriation with New Jeans, XG.
Wait, I thought we were talking about
Hmm?
disbandments. There's two groups that
Oh,
disbanded.
I thought we were just going to listen to these first since were already in the lab together. But I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
we
I
can
didn't
do
know
whatever you
that. All
want.
right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
let's
didn't know it
get
was a
into
topic.
the. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh
Continue.
shoot, I didn't know it was a topic. I'm sorry.
Nope.
uh,
Go ahead.
but yes, so we thought we would just kind of listen to them and kind of give our opinion on it. I mean, take our opinion for what it is. It's just our opinions on it. We're just three black girls who have been listening to K-pop for quite a long time and have been fans of XG. And other groups in this space. So yeah, we're gonna listen to HARVEY with Big Mad.
Not the Nicki Minaj wig, girl.
HARVEY is a biracial member that kind of sounds like
With white, not black.
Make a beat man, humbly I did that.
Sounds
On
like
the
what?
last day, with my twin
like
big
Nicki
facts.
Minaj.
While they stuck in the feeling, just a miss
Oh.
Your big mouth can't hit it when no jibber jab.
believe you.
Chat chatting non-stop, big temple tantrum. Womp, this a go ahead and hate
So have y'all been hearing
Big
the
man,
about
yeah, go and
their
get mad. I'ma let it
personal
slide to the
guide?
side, then I'm slip
So they've
back.
been saying
Harvey
that
on
like basically he is trying to live out his blackaboo dreams through XG. They say like he's like a major he's like an artist himself, but he's like majorly into hip hop. And they said they like accusing him of like living out his dreams through them. And I'm just like, what is going on in Asia? Like, where are these rumors coming from? But that's what they're saying. So they're saying he kind of reminds me too of Luna's producer. What was his name? Jaden John? The guy
I
who made Luna
Luna.
or was
Oh,
involved with Luna?
I can't remember his name.
Mm.
She's half Asian, half Aussie alien. Interesting.
Can you say alien? Is that?
That's what she said.
Oh, that's what she said.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, sorry. I thought you were reading from like K-pop profiles. I was like,
No,
what is going on? Okay.
this is still hot from JURIN.
Oh, I like her look.
Oh, she's one of the like visually popular members in the group.
She 5'9"?
No, she said she's not 5'9", but she's like a little
Oh.
giant. Yeah. I kind of like that line, so
Wait, the real question is this like something they wrote or is this something that their CEO gave to them?
I don't know.
Because she rapping with a little too much like it seems like she if somebody gave this to her, it seems like she practiced it a lot. You know what I mean?
Right.
To like own it a little bit. Yeah, she definitely wrote these lyrics. I'm like, I think that at least in my opinion, that just it comes off, not very practiced, but like
This
in a
is
good, like in not a bad way, right?
yeah. Yeah. Dirt Off Your Shoulder by COCONA.
Mm.
And did she pay Timbaland for this beat? Is the question.
Especially the way that Japan be, copyright striking people. Why is her voice so? Well, her nails are very gyaru coated.
Yeah. I don't know
Should we
about these
send this
not
to
five
Young
girls.
Posse CEO? Probably not. XG is like grown women. Young Posse's like, look, they don't know what they doing. They know not the sins of their father.
Like she got paid Jay-Z too for that. So like I don't know if they got the money for all that.
They definitely just stole this sample. There's no way they paid for that. Is her name really Cocona? Like her station? I never knew their
Yeah.
names, by the way. So this is like new for me.
I knew Harvey's name because it's Harvey. And it's just okay.
It's kind of, I'm gonna be honest. To me, it's kind of iconic a little bit though.
Yeah.
Harvey for a girl name, like that's kind of iconic.
This is Million Cash by Maya. Or Mia.
I feel like when it comes to lyricism, SoundCloud rappers and mumble rappers have done so much damage to the rap game in like the
Yeah.
last 5 years that like this does not sound bad in
No.
comparison. You know what I mean? You can thank Lil Pump and Takashi 69 and all those very, very dangerous people for that. So y'all buy is that an Asian thing?
I don't know.
Because that's not an Asian thing. That's a Turkish thing, I think. Because 17 has a song called Lili Yabai, and they said that it's like a saying in
Oh,
like some language. It just I don't know what it means, but it's a saying. Oh, well, we can't watch this yet.
right.
Okay, so we just listened to XG's diss tracks. We don't know who they dissing. It's kind of like when who was it that said that? Was it a member of like ATs or something? Oh no, I think it was Subin from TXT. He was like, I don't know why K-pop artists be putting out diss tracks when you don't have haters.
Right.
But what y'all think of it? I'm just curious.
Ash, what do you think?
I mean, it was okay. Wasn't I agree with y'all where it didn't feel as embarrassing as Young Posse. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about them necessarily doing the whole diss track thing, but it seemed less offensive than whatever Young Posse was trying to do. So,
Okay. I think my take on it is like these days I'm getting more. I feel like as you get older, they say you get wiser, and I think I'm getting a little bit more like. If I had a seen this years ago, I think I would be like, "Oh my god, this is like cultural appropriation." But like, I'm not even going like I'm gonna be honest. Like, I do think sometimes you do get a situation where people actually just really like that thing. I don't know if that's the case with XG, but they kind of pull it off sometimes. So it kind of makes me feel like if you can pull it off and it doesn't seem like you're laughing at the same time you're doing it, and if it seems like you did your research and like using the dirt off your shoulder, like that's a little bit of a deep cut. That's like it just certain things just make me wonder like the people who are putting the resources behind this, like where is that coming from? And I just don't get that much of like I don't get as negative of a vibe, I guess, as I do from like some K-pop groups that do the same exact thing, but it's very clear that they don't like that type of music and it's like for profit. And like I think even but I did at the same time I did read something where I guess like one of the XG, I don't know if it was one of the XG members, but I think it was like saying one of the XG members was getting like said that she wished her hair is falling out because they keep braiding it. But I haven't seen them with French braids lately, so I don't know if that, like, I don't know. The point is like, I think I'm a little bit past the whole every time somebody raps or has braids, it's cultural appropriation, because I do think that it really kind of goes against the idea that like black culture is something to be shared, and that it can be appreciated. Because I think it
Yeah.
can be appreciated, and I think some people do appreciate it. Like a very good example of this is like Jonghyun is like a stan, like, well, he was like a stan of Maxwell. You know what I mean? Or Taemin being a stan of Michael Jackson. Like Haechan too. One of the members of the boys is a stan of Beyonce. Like they appreciate what those artists have put into the world. Or like Kai talked about like a lot about being a stan of Brandy, which was so random because I was like, but Brandy can sing, so are you sure? And so just a situation where it's like I do think that I like to see people appreciating black culture, as long and I like to see when it's genuine, and I like to see when you did your homework and when you actually did a good job. And because I feel like, by the same token, if you think about it, that's what Fatou is doing in Black Swan. She's appreciating something about Korean culture. There's nothing. She's not a Korea boo. She's not a this. She's not a this. So I don't think we should necessarily apply that label to everybody who does the same in our culture. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Mhm.
yet she's doing the Korean makeup as well. So it's just like one of those, like, I don't know. It's okay to have some exchange, and it's okay if it's well done and well made, and there's a lot of love and passion and energy. And from those diss tracks, I don't know who they're dissing. They're probably dissing all the K-pop stands to some extent, because K-pop stands really hate them for some reason. I've noticed
Yeah.
that a lot on K-pop spaces. They're like, "How come when SSERAFIM does Smart or Easy, you guys always want to say something, but XG is doing this?" And I'm like, you have to see the difference. But
Right.
so
Right.
anyway, that was like a long rant, but I didn't mind it. It wasn't necessarily my cup of tea. I still think Left Right is their best output to date, and they're clearly talented. Hopefully, this is coming from a good place. Nat, did you have anything else to add?
No, I think you guys both hit it on, the nail on the head, because the songs were kind of cringy, and especially the dirt off the shoulder one. I don't know. I think it's because it is like a deep cut, and you're just like, okay, and it raised so many questions. I think, about sampling and pays. Are we paying Black people for their things?
Mhm.
But I definitely don't think it's appropriation. I think that there's definitely like a genuine interest in that type of music, like hip hop, but like 2000s hip hop specifically, 90s hip hop specifically, and that it doesn't feel offensive to me. And I don't know if it's because they're Japanese, and I just think that the Japanese appreciate a lot more than the Koreans do. Like, no offense, but it just I feel like I think I've said this before. I feel like whenever like Koreans do a lot of like really Black or African American, Caribbean, African, like whatever they sort of use influences from people from these areas in these regions, they like you feel like yeah, it's good or whatever, but you also are kind of aware of how racist they are at the same time. So it's like they'll take your music and they'll talk about how hip hop they are, and then they'll call you the N word in like the same breath. You know what I mean?
And then,
And
like, literally the next comeback is, like, the exact opposite of that, and it's like, this is our real self. It's kinda like the Miley Cyrus thing, right?
right,
We're in our bangers era, and then we're the next comeback, "No, this is, like, the mature version of me." You know?
right, and I
With EXO, I feel like is one K-pop group that doesn't really do that when it comes to the R&B thing. I think that they just like R&B music, you know?
right, right, and I don't think. I think one thing that really kind of annoys me a lot of the time is like Jay Park and some of his ilk will be like hip hop for life, but I'm like, that's not how you go home. You know what I mean? Like that's not how you
Mm.
are when your parents and your grandparents are around. You know what I mean? Whereas in Japan, like they really be about that life.
I listen. A video came across my dashboard, where not my dashboard, my whatever, my algorithm, and it was like stopping Japanese people on the street and like asking them like if they were dressed like Garu, if they were dressed like in a way that's not traditional, like asking them why. And then like when people were explaining, I was like, oh, you're committed to being like like an otaku or a gyaru or like a, you know what I mean? Like you're committed to whatever that lifestyle. It's not just an aesthetic for you, which I find wild because it's like personally, you know, like that's just interesting to me of like you adopt something so wholly and completely and it might not necessarily emanate from your culture, but at the same time it's like you do that every single day when you go outside and you assimilate into whatever the major culture, you know what I mean? So it's just
Right.
like I hear what you're saying. Like I do feel like you notice the culture of Japan. I think it kind of facilitates the type of like situation where you have people who genuinely go home this or they can't go home no more. Like I saw a couple that's like, yeah, my mom won't even let me go back in the house because this is like something I enjoy and they don't like that. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
It's
So yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
I mean that's kind of just, yeah. Our thoughts on it, guys. We're just three Black women.
Not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I won't be going
But
back to it, unfortunately, but it didn't sound horrible. So
yeah, didn't sound horrible. I'm not offended. You know, it's fine. Okay, let's get into our topics. So, girl groups are really going through it these last couple of days. So, we had some disbandment news, unfortunately. So, people on Twitter noticed that Haru, who is a Japanese member, I assume, of Nature, a K-pop group that debuted in 2008, had put up like was included in a video online promoting a hostess club in Japan and where she is a hostess and she referred to herself as a formal idol. And so the video itself was taken down by NCH Entertainment because, you know, she's, I guess, technically still under contract with them. But I guess through this, CH Entertainment was then forced to admit that the group had disbanded. And so, yeah, I mean, Nature's honestly a group that I think I've listened to one song from them. I'm not really that well versed on them to know if they're like to know if what their potential is. But yeah, unfortunately, they have disbanded. And then we had news that Cherry Bullet also disbanded. So FNC had to announce that Cherry Bullet, which debuted in 2019, disbanded officially, and they still have three members: Yuju, Bora, and Cheran, with the company FNC, while Haeyoon, Jiwon, Remy, and May have parted ways. And their last comeback was in 20 or before around the Queendom Puzzle, where three members did compete but did not join the actual group. I don't know what this group's name is supposed to be. It's EL7Z up. What does that pronounce? L7Z? Like what? Okay. But that's the group name. So I do know Love So Sweet. And you honestly, I feel like anybody who has ever heard of Cherry Bullet knows Love So Sweet because that was like their best song. It's like Snoopers with platonic love. You know, like these groups have that one song that was like, why was everybody always says why was that not popular enough? And Love So Sweet was their song. And then we also had news that BB Girls, formerly known as Brave Girls, parted ways with Warner Music Korea, and they're going to continue as a trio because Yujeong, their member, has decided not to continue with the group. So yeah, they're going to be under a subsidiary called GLG, which is home to High Key, which is a boy group, I believe. And so, yeah, that's what's going on. As I said, girl groups are really going through it recently. A lot of disbandment news, like in a span of 3 days or 2 days or something like that, we had heard all of this. So, another unfortunate story is singer Park Boram has passed away at the age of 30, and her agency was forced to make legal threats to stop rampant speculation and defamation. And yeah, I mean, I knew her from Superstar K2, and she was actually preparing for her 10th anniversary comeback. So it's very unfortunate that she had passed away quite young. So, you know, our condolences to her family, friends, and loved ones at this time. And the next story is KBS being unprofessional and ghetto as always.
Mhm.
So they have a show called Pick Me Trip in Bali. I don't know what pick me they're supposed to be. Is it because like people have appropriated that now and it's really like hot? I don't know. Okay, but anyways, the girls in question were APink's Bomi, SNSD Hyoyeon, XIOI's Lim Nayoung, Secret Numbers Dita, and broadcaster Chae Hee. They plus a cast, plus their production team, which was totaling about 30 people, were caught filming without permission for this show in Indonesia. They had their passports taken away, and I don't think they were like literally like arrested, but they were definitely detained while they were out there. And so, yes, you are a huge broadcasting network in Korea. Why would you not have permission to film in Bali? Like, who dropped the ball on that? Who really did drop the ball on that? Like, that is actually a crazy story to me. Especially since, like, a lot of these Korean variety shows, they go to Indonesia and Thailand and those places quite frequently. They should have, like, a strong enough relationship for it to be, like, a seamless sort of process for them when it comes to them being able to go and film and go back and like have security and all that kind of stuff. So free Bomi. Actually, I didn't put it on the because I forgot because of everything that's been going on. But Dispatch has released information about Bomi, APink's Bomi, being in a relationship for 8 years. I know if I was able to, have a relationship for 8 years as a active K-pop idol who acts and also has an active YouTube page. I don't know. I think I would kind of be pissed. Like, what finally got their attention? You know what I mean?
People have to have known.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, okay, girl.
Who is she dating again?
She's dating. I gotta pull it up. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like Black Eyed Pilsung producer. Yes. And yeah, they've been dating. Well, so 7 years here, but I saw 8 years before. So yeah, good for her. I hope he's actually the one who wrote "I'm So Sick" or produced "I'm So Sick." And
I love that.
I hope he got a discount. I hope he got a discount because if I'm dating a producer, he better be giving me a discount for my music. Like I'm just saying. But yeah, as long as this relationship is healthy and happy, we wish you guys all the best. And congrats. Like, I mean, girl, you did a good job of hiding that for 7 to 8 years. So the next topic is YG Petty Ass has Baemon. Who is Baemon? I'm sorry.
Baby Monster.
Baby Monster. BABMON. BABYMON. Yes, them. Okay, so I know that they made a big deal that they were going to have them perform with like mics and a live band because, of course, they're capitalizing on the situation at Coachella, which we will be getting into later, guys.
Which is so petty.
So
So petty.
But also, I feel like other companies should be doing that. Like, if I was an executive or like a manager or whatever at YG, I'd be like, okay, these girls can't sing. They're embarrassing our nation, our country, our industry at Coachella. Their words, netizens' words, not mine. But this is what they think. I'm gonna get EXO. I'm gonna get a couple of acoustic guitars. Have Lay's promoting in Korea right now. Give Lay a guitar, gave Chanyeol a guitar. I'd be having
if I'm SM Entertainment right now, RIIZE is in the middle of a comeback. We know Doyoung's in the middle of a comeback. If I'm SM Entertainment, it's acapella. It's just straight up acapella. Like we be petty. This is why, even though I can't stand half things happening at YG Entertainment, they know how to make a moment. Okay.
They definitely know how to capitalize. They said, "Oh, those girls can't sing. Oh, but we got singers." And
should we listen to the Baby Monster?
I have not. Let's listen to it right now.
Okay, let me get some headphones in.
Yes, let me put the song in the watch together.
I already did.
Oh, wonderful. All
right, is everybody ready to see what Baby Monster's talking about vocally?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
And so this is a performance on Inkigayo for Sheesh.
Although, to be honest, Sheesh is not the most vocally difficult song.
It's not. But also, the bar is kind of in hell right now because these shows are never live.
Right. Even like day six, mime their instruments. So this is Remy, who we have distinguished as one of their better vocalists.
Yeah. I was not an Ion, like, I didn't know who she was, and I was skeptical of why people were like, "Oh, she needed to be in the group." And then when we listened to their album, I was like, "No, her vocal's pretty good." Her YG
Yes.
vocal. Also, another thing that's interesting too is like, not that their rapping is good, but like rapping is also not live. You know what I mean on these shows. So it's just
This rap verse is really silly. Like, I mean, I do have to say it is silly. But the
the
singing,
entire verse is just gun noises. Like, I'm not even
Click
joking.
clap, click clap.
pow, 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 like, yeah, that's all it is. That part's really catchy. I don't know.
I do wonder, why do boy groups never do covers of YG girl groups or challenges for them?
I think that they did like maybe do. I feel like I've seen boy
Oh
groups
yeah, you're right.
do.
Blackpink hasn't released a song in like 4 years, so that's probably
Right.
why I think that. Saying Inkigayo, are you ready, is insane. She's like
It is
treating it
actually
like it's
insane.
Coachella.
Like, bring these girls to Coachella. Yes, honestly, just bring them to Coachella right now because that. Okay, girls.
I do like the BABYMON, tell a friend.
Tell a friend. Tell a friend.
It's
Yeah.
very Blackpink in your area, you know.
Why was this actually good? I am.
After watching Le Sserafim at Coachella, watching this is crazy because everybody in this group is like seven. And they outperformed Le Sserafim. That's crazy.
You know what? YG
I
might
would
have
be
done it
so
again.
embarrassed.
YG might have done it again. I don't know. Oh, wow. Anyways, tell us, listeners, how you felt about that Inkigayo,
Coach, that
performance.
Inkychella performance.
Inkychella. Oh, that's actually really good. Inkychella. Yeah. Let us know how you guys thought about that because that was pretty good. Like, yeah. Next story. Manager of B1A4's Sandal planted a hidden camera that was found by musical actress Kim Hwan Hee. And the company that he works for, WME, apologizes. And so it was reported that Kim Hwan Hee found a hidden camera in the sofa of her dressing room at the Kwanglim Arts Center while preparing for her musical Next to Normal. She reported it to the police, and both her company, Blue Stage, and the musical's production company, MP and Company, and they said they actually did their jobs. I know, shocking. And in follow-up reports, it was revealed that the suspect was the manager of an idol group, and the company responded to reports by saying they terminated his employment. They also said the suspect is under police investigation. So one thing that's really uncomfortable about all of this is that his Sando is a co-star in her musical. So it's kind of uncomfortable, like with the fact that it was his manager that planted it. I mean, it seems by all accounts that Sendo is innocent and things like that, but it could make the behind the scenes stuff a little bit more uncomfortable. It seems. And one thing noted in this article is that this company, WM Entertainment, also have Oh My Girl and Lee Chae-yeon at the company, and he was presumably in all the spaces that they were also in. So it's kind of, I hope that they're actually doing a full and thorough investigation on any cameras that he might have planted on the other idols. I feel like we don't really get a lot of stories from Korea where something weird and creepy like this happens and they actually do their job properly. I don't know. Like, is
Yeah.
it just me?
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, we all know that the hidden camera thing is like a huge problem there.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like there obviously should be more. I mean, I would hope that people in positions of like celebrity or fame or whatever should, be especially cognizant of the possibility that somebody could be planting those cameras around them, because it's bad enough like in public bathrooms, where
Right.
everyday people go. So yeah.
Right. It's crazy, like, not to be too off topic, but like it says a lot about what you value when the problems are, cameras in bathrooms and, inappropriate touching and stuff like that on the trains. And your response to that is not to like rehabilitate the people who are perpetuating these things, but to make women only trains and, hire extra people to check bathrooms.
That's a good
Like,
point.
I feel like the root cause of these problems are not being addressed at any way, shape, or form. It's like we're just gonna mitigate them at base and on base level, and then like that these things don't solve these problems. Because I've been on like the Japanese women only trains, and they're like certain times of the day. Like it's not completely women only. Like so it's and these mocha situations. Is that what they call it? Mocha, right? Like is that what they call it with
I
the
think
cameras? Yeah,
so.
hidden camera. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So with these mocha situations, like they're not, telling men that it's bad. They're just saying, oh, it's probably just a few bad apples, so we're just gonna hire these entire, groups, like 4 or 5 women who go into these bathrooms and check for these things, and that's their only jobs, mind you. It's yeah, it's a problem. Oh, another story with another problem. So I'm a Shinhwa fan, and like most Shinhwa fans, we're in our 30s. Some are in their 40s. But for the most part, we are of the age of the groups or slightly younger. So most of us are in our 30s. And it seems that with age does not always come, maturity. Because in this case, Shinhwa fans have been revealed to be terrorizing member Andy's wife and also actress So Yoon, who is in a drama with member Dongwan, Men's Life These Days, Groom's Class. And it's like got to a point where she had to put a message asking fans to stop harassing her and making threats. It is so insane because you would think that with age these people would these fans, alleged fans, would calm down, but they are not. And meanwhile, Lee Eun-ju, who's the wife of member Andy, recently revealed that she received death threats. And so she said that she would be taking legal action after seeing So Yuna's post about like stop being fucking crazy. Basically, that's the gist of it. Like it's actually like we'll be talking about fans' behavior throughout. Like I think we talk about fans' behavior like every episode because K-pop fans are next level. But really, really and truly, some of these women have kids. I know because when I watch like Shinhwa's content, they be bringing these kids to fan meets and to concerts and stuff like that. So I know that they like have children, they have jobs that they've been at for more than 5 years. Like you would assume that they would have dropped that really insidious fan behavior, but they're literally sending death threats to a wife of a member. Like, how could you love this group, these members, and send death threats to the people that they love?
And that's
Who's
why
next?
being a stan is should be in the DSM.
Right.
It's not I think that it's people don't realize that it's like probably something deeper going on with the person who is doing that. You know what I mean? Like that
Mhm.
it's not a behavior of a healthy, well-adjusted person with no issues whatsoever.
Mm.
Yeah. It's really unfortunate, and especially like as I said, I'm a Shinhwa fan. This reflects badly on all of us. Even like the same people, it really does reflect pretty poorly on us. And I know a lot of people like to say, "Oh, those are just bad apples in the fandom," blah blah blah. But it really does reflect badly on you when people see crazy shit coming from people who are your fans or in your fandom. So please stop this behavior, guys. I want to come back sometime, in the next couple of years. I know that Eric is running himself ragged, helping his wife with their baby. And, probably the other members are trying to have kids right now. So I understand, it might not be right now, but in the next like 3 years, I would love to see you come back from Shinhwa. So please rein it in. Stop being crazy. Rein it in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we are going to get into, I guess, a slightly, I don't even know, like crazy topics. These are the headline stories, guys, since we last recorded. First up, Coachella. So everybody knows Vanessa Hudgens' favorite festival. It's Coachella. And
do they? Okay.
the image of her like in her like Indian chic wear is like so synonymous with Coachella that yeah, I just assumed like yeah, it's one of those internet
Oh,
symbols,
she
right?
was the one that did that.
Right. See,
Mm.
Ash knows. But yes, Coachella happened, and we had 2 weekends of Coachella. Two of the K-pop artists or K-pop groups that were at Coachella were SSERAFIM and ATEEZ. We actually have a Patreon episode on the first weekend with both of those groups. And if you subscribe to our Patreon, it's $3 a month. You can listen to that along with our Lucas documentary, which should be out before this episode goes out. But we have a lot of content on there. I'm just like, a little commercial in between what we're doing here. So bear with me. We have a Patreon. It's, as I said, it is $3 a month. It has so much content. We do album reviews. We do discussions on everything in not just in Korea and Korean entertainment, but Japanese entertainment, Chinese entertainment, Taiwanese entertainment, Thailand entertainment. We watch dramas. We sometimes borrow conversation topics from Reddit, and we have a good ass time. And yeah, you can help us with some of the costs that are associated with making this podcast and our time, obviously. And obviously, if you don't have the money, just letting people know that you like our podcast, letting us know you like our podcast is also very good. We understand hard times. But if you do have the $3 a month to spare, please think about becoming a patron. Anyways, back to Coachella. Did you guys? Oh, well, I know Jimin watched it because we watched it together. Ash, did you watch the performances at Coachella?
I've seen clips. I didn't watch anything all the way through, but I feel like I've seen enough to have gotten the gist of how they did.
So, how did you think? What would be your opinion based on those clips?
So I feel like ATEEZ did fine. ATEEZ has never been a group that has like bowled me over, so I thought they did okay. The Seraphim seemed like they were kind of all over the place. Like some of the members looked scared. We've all heard about the vocals. And then they just like, I don't know, it seemed like they weren't really prepared for what, performing on that kind of stage and venue and crowd. I don't know why HYBE would, you know, do that, without them having the proper preparation. But yeah, especially when you compare it to Blackpink stages, it's just very obvious that it wasn't well rehearsed. So, yeah.
Okay, I mean, I do think that was like the gist of it. Now, with what we thought, I can personally say that they did clip together the worst vocal examples of it, but I personally did not think they did that bad vocally. Like I like especially knowing Lee Serafim's limits and just the baseline of their vocal talents. I personally didn't think that they did that bad. I mean, definitely there were bum notes, but overall, I don't think that they did that bad of a job vocally, especially with the dancing and being nervous and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it definitely wasn't the showstopper that Blackpink was, but I think that a lot of. Okay, I'm gonna be very clear. Mostly for these bitches on Twitter that keep trying to tell me to kill myself. Like, first of all, I'm not gonna do that, but also, you guys are crazy. I like SSERAFIM. I have very openly been into SSERAFIM, and I don't I understand the what they can do and what they're good at. The things that they're good at, obviously having main character energy. They put a lot of work into their performances. They have bops. I love watching their film vlogs. Hey, we're here. They're great, whatever. But do I think those girls are vocalists? No. Even Chaewon, who had the steadiest vocals there, is not a vocalist. She wasn't even in she was like maybe C or B tier in Eyes One, and they really only had one or two vocalists, like actual singers in that group. Group of 12, two people kind of. Maybe Kwon Eunbin really was the one holding the vocals down for the most part, but she had some help. You know what I mean? So I say all that to say that vocally, I don't think that they're very strong. I don't think that they're steady. I think Inche is tone deaf maybe, or just needs to work on that. Sakura is very smart. She was like speaking, rapping a lot of her parts going into this Coachella thing, because they had already been criticized very heavily for their encore stages leading up to this. So she knew how to play the game, and I think she did. That's why she came out looking a lot better than a lot of the other girls did. Yujeong was definitely the loudest. She wasn't very steady either, right? And Kazuha, like, she's a rapper. Like, I don't really expect vocals from a rapper. So I want to say, like, I don't think these girls can sing. I'm sorry. Like, I just don't think that they are good vocally, but I don't need to have that to like their music. You know what I mean? Like, what they do what they do performance wise and what they do in their music videos is good enough for me personally. I don't blame the girls. I blame their company. Because if you are getting criticized for not being able to sing when you're standing up with a hand mic in an encore stage, the company is the one that's supposed to come to you and be like, okay, let's bring you to some vocal lessons.
And to be honest, I don't even find their dancing so, like, it's not even like their dance to me. Like, I know Nat has a different take, but for me, I don't find their dancing so captivating that it's like, oh, that's the only thing I need to be entertained by this singing group. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I think some groups can get away with weaker vocals because their dancing really is that captivating. Not many. I don't even actually, I take that back. I don't think there's that many. But the point is like, I think you have to have some sort of level of like, even to, okay, here's a good example. TXT gets away with the vocal problem, because I know the girlie's gonna be like, y'all never talk about boy groups having bad vocals. TXT gets away with it because their music, for the same reason LE has gotten away with it for so long, because their music is very easy listening, and TXT doesn't set themselves up for failure by doing live performances when they know they can't do it. So a lot of people probably don't realize even that TXT's vocals have been struggling lately because of the song choice and the fact that they don't put themselves in situations to sound bad. like
Right.
like a lot of TXT songs don't require good, like, strong vocals. So I don't know. And then also, I want to say that personally, I do need some sort of vocal unless you are a TXT. Whereas LE don't have those kind of songs to me. You could say that they have that. Like, people feel that way. I don't feel that way though. Like, for me, there's very few groups like I like when I think of songs where it's like, oh, this is just a song I can listen to and not think about the vocals. I'm thinking like 50/50 Cupid. You know what I mean? I'm
Oh, but they
thinking,
can sing.
Stacy ASAP. You know,
They also have vocalists in Stacy. Like, Stacy has been
They
singing
still they
live
still
since
yeah,
her
Stacey has
debut.
really good vocals, but I'm saying, like, those are the type of songs where you don't even need all of that. Like, even has music where I feel like they don't need Wendy to go off. You know what I mean?
Right, right,
And it still
right.
has that good vibe to it where I can just listen to it and not think about anything. But I feel like the music I've heard from LE is just not that interesting to overcome the
Vocal
what I
issues.
think is a weak vocal line.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I do want to continue with what I was saying before. With it's not one. I don't think it's technically. I don't think it's like something that should be blamed on the girls because they're still a young group, and so I think
Isn't
a lot.
Sakura like 27?
Well, no, not them. I'm talking more about Unche, to be honest. But like they're like them as a group is still kind of young. They're only like 2 years, I think, old.
And to be fair, 27 is young. It's just
Yeah.
like not like she's been in multiple K-pop groups at this
Yeah.
point. You should know how to sing.
Yeah.
But sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But what I'm trying to say is that like I think that the company is really the ones who are going to be motivating that and telling them what to do. We already know based on a lot of stuff that we're finding out about HYBE how controlling they are. So the company itself should be the ones to be like, "Hey girls, you got all these bad comments about your singing in your encore stage. Let me get you to a vocal like a vocal coach." And two, I think the industry itself and what the fans are more interested in are not vocals. Like it's funny because fans will say like, "Oh, they can't sing," blah 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 blah. But I'm sorry, based on what you guys be hyping up, if vocals really were important to you, I feel like you would not like these groups or you would not like these songs. So I personally think that the industry is so focused on looks and behavior, especially right now. Like, and you think about fourth gen groups and fourth gen vocal talents. I just think it's not even like an important aspect of making a K-pop group anymore. And so I think that that has definitely that's why we're seeing so many stories now about people not being able to sing and people having to prove that they can sing because the
I feel like it's just
industry standards are not that high. It's just not important to the industry. I
I
personally
feel
just don't
like
think
sorry.
it is. No, it's okay.
I feel really bad because I can't really hear you because I put my headphones in, so it's going in and out. All I was gonna say is I agree with you, but I want to add to that like I this is my hot take. I feel like I can directly trace the beginning of K-pop, like these agencies, like the beginning of when they stopped caring. And I'm gonna attribute it to a couple things, but we're gonna start kind of at the focal point when BTS popped off
Yep.
the way they did. That was a sign that you just really need to be good performers. If you have a good rap line, it will be great. You just need to be good at one thing. It don't need to be, and it don't need to be singing, right? That was what BTS showed people. But fourth gen came in, and fourth gen had groups like Stray Kids, whose music shows that, like, even despite the fact that they may actually have talent, you don't see it in their music. You have groups like TXT, who was always more dance focused. You can like all those early fourth gen groups, at least the boy groups. I'm not speaking to the girl groups because I don't really know, to be honest, but the fourth gen boy groups are where it, like, that idea that you don't need anything. And I also want to take a second here. I want to blame NCT as well, not because NCT is not talented, because we know that is the exact opposite. They have some singers in NCT. The problem with NCT is that NCT has always been a flashy group dance wise.
Right.
And I even noticed when people were getting into K-pop for the first time years ago and they were reacting to NCT, they would always react to how flashy their choreography was, which, because, you have like 28 members on the stage. So it looks crazy to people, right? And I think people got it in their head that BTS was successful doing it. Then you got a group like NCT who leads in, like, I'm not even gonna hold you. The entire fourth gen owes their career to NCT, except for TXT, because NCT set a crate, like, they set this precedent. Your song can sound like anything. It can literally sound like anything. They set that precedent. Difference is obviously NCT does it well. Stray Kids not so much. AT's not so much. But the point is they set that precedent that all you need to do is be a good performer in some way, shape, or form, and your song can sound like anything. So that's where you started getting all the crazy fourth gen concepts from the boy groups that the girl groups ended up doing, like Luna ended up doing basically NCT music, right?
Right.
The fourth gen, I think that's why it was so hard for people to connect with fourth gen. Like, even if you look at what Knet say, people say the fourth gen was so hard to connect with because it was like this very niche music to where you couldn't see the idols' talents on display unless you listen to the B sides. And
Right.
so when New Jeans came in, which is a fourth gen group. But when they came in with a completely different aesthetic from what everybody else was trying to do, like they weren't doing noise music, they were doing chill music. And when they came in, and then you had some other groups come in that started to kind of change that perception, then you had TXT creating a whole lane of we just gonna do rock music, light version, of course, very light version. I think that kind of started to show, okay, now you don't even have to have a crazy concept. You
Right.
can do regular ass music with no talent and still do well. And I am guilty because, granted, I do think New Jeans and TXT are like they do have talent. They just don't really get to show it a lot, at
Right.
least with TXT. But the point is like I think it's an evolution. It started with BTS showing that you only need to be good, really, really good at one thing, and then
Rapping.
NCT showing your music don't even have to fucking sound good. That's me saying this in terms of title tracks. NCT's B-sides are amazing. And then you add that with all the fourth gen groups who was like, well, your music can be boring, your skills can be as long as you're a good dancer, the rest of your skills can be like terrible. And that's why you have this problem now where a lot of people can't even sing, but they can show you how to pop and lock even though they can't freestyle. They can show you how to pop and lock, but they can't sing. And I'm just like, that's why it's so refreshing for me personally. I've been getting into some of the fifth gen groups because I do think that there's more of a shift back to like the more second gen kind of vibe of like, okay, you at least need to have one main vocal. You know what I mean? Like if you
Right.
look at RIIZE or like NCT Wish, and those are my only examples right now because at the top of my head. But if you look at them, they both have like a positions. You know what I mean? It's not like you remember like with TXT, it's like, oh, they don't have positions. There's no main rapper because they're all good. Whereas if you look at RIIZE, it's very clear who the singers are. It's very clear who the dancers are. You don't have to guess. And by doing that, it's highlighting the vocal line again. Like what Schumann said. What Schumann gave that interview, he was like, I'm a singer. My job is to sing. Big ears over here, Chanyeol. I don't know what his job is, but he does that very successfully.
He
So
he does like 5 things real well.
he does very successfully. Also,
Right.
Chanyeol's I find Chanyeol handsome, so the big ears thing is just a nickname. The
Right.
point is like I think that second gen vibe of having positions again, having music that's easy to listen to, but also really high quality is starting to come back in style, thankfully. But problem is like what's all the popular groups are fourth gen groups, and all they know how
Right.
to do is dance, and they barely can do that half the time.
And
And
look
that's just
pretty
fine.
and
And look pretty, yeah, serve visuals. And I'm gonna exempt one group from this. I'm gonna exempt aespa because and Nmix because I hear them girls and they can sing. Though
yeah.
that's all I have to say.
I will say to kind of on top of that as well too. First of all, I definitely agree with the fifth gen. Like if you look at Plave, who we did do featured on, they can sing. Zikers, they actually have a singer. Baby Monster, we just saw their Inki Cella performance, and they can sing. Like who else? Who else is in fifth gen? RIIZE,
The
as you
fifth gen is
mentioned.
so new that it's
Yeah.
almost like you can't think of too many examples,
Right.
but
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. But also, I want to piggyback too on the industry. Like, I want to kind of stress the industry part and sort of attach it to what you said about NMIX and ESPA. One thing that really, really started to piss me off in like the midst of fourth gen when they were being introduced and really up until like a year ago, I guess when the can't sing allegation started kind of becoming a thing, is that people who could sing were lip syncing a lot. Like
Yeah.
from beginning of their career to fairly recently have been lip syncing all the time on music shows. And that's crazy to me because they can actually sing. Like, why are you lip singing? You know what I mean? Taeyeon
Yeah.
was doing it. She don't even be singing the way that she used to sing anymore. She's very much playing it safe. And I feel like because people are realizing that visuals are the ultimate thing that you need to worry about because they really are. At the end
Mhm.
of the day, visuals are the most
But
important
what the crazy thing is, I'm trying to figure out where did that come from. The reason why, well, okay, I know where it came from, but I'm trying to figure out why is it still catching steam because everywhere I turn, whether I'm looking at the domestic market or the international market, everybody's concerned about vocals. So I'm trying to understand, like, do y'all want y'all cake and eat it too? Probably,
right,
because let's be real, Beyonce serves visuals and vocals, so you can have it. But I
right,
think the real underlying key here is look at how difficult the choreography routines are getting.
right.
Like, you. there's a reason why GOT7 only had one person doing flips on stage. You know what I mean? It wasn't the whole group because you couldn't have JB out there doing flips. Somebody had to sing. You know what I
Some him
mean?
and Young Jay were like, we're gonna sing. So you like
We're gonna be over
Jackson
here.
and Mark, mostly Mark, but Jackson has a flip here or there. You know, there's a
Right.
lot.
And that's one thing that stood out to me. I don't know if you remember that, but that's one
Mhm.
thing that stood out to me about ATEEZ's Coachella performance is notice how the person who was supposed to be singing just stood there and sing. He
Right,
did his job. And I'm not saying he's my favorite or anything like that, but he did his job. And I think that we could possibly be seeing a return to that because fifth gen choreos are getting easier and easier. Besides, RIIZE is an exception. We'll talk about them later. But fifth gen choreos are getting easier and easier. And I think it's going to help them go forward to be able to, because I don't know if Taeyeon's choreo is getting harder, but I do notice that like if I compare aespa with like some Red Velvet, like I do think aespa's slightly harder. Like
right,
aespa has a choreo where they drop all the way down to the floor. There's no way you can maintain a stable vocal and do that.
right, exactly. And yeah, like talking about ATs, their one vocalist, I can't remember his name. I know you know his name, but I can't remember his name. But you notice too, he
Why
was
you
the
lie
most
on me like that? I don't
comfortably
know his name.
oh sorry, he was the most comfortably dressed on stage as well. He
He
was like,
was.
I am here to sing. Okay.
He was listen, and you know what's so funny about you saying that? Because now I'm thinking like Sam knew his role too because Sam was like, I'm just here to be naked. I'm just here
Right.
to be naked and dance. He knew what
Exactly.
he was there for. And that's what I like. I like not necessarily the naked thing, but I like it when idols are really, really good at that one. Like I just I'm not saying that you can't be a multi-threat, like a triple threat, but there's not too many idols that are a multi-threat naturally. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like just become an expert at the thing you're good at, you know?
Right, exactly. Like I miss when you had a dancer in the group and their one job was to have a dance break. You know, like Momo.
Taemin, you
Momo.
know, you'll see that with Rise. You'll see that with Rise. But
Yeah, like
Taemin, but it just brings you back to
Taemin.
tiny replay days.
Right, exactly. And like Momo in
Onu
HYBE.
said, I'm not doing that shit. You give that to Taemin. That's his job.
He's like, I'm here to sing. I want to be singing ballads, but I'm gonna be singing Ring Ding Dong instead. It's fine.
Still serve vocals.
Exactly. But yeah, like we like okay, I just want to make sure that we're clear here because I know a lot of people lack critical thinking and fans or sorry stans are very quick to assume negative things if you don't say things exactly as they want you to say them. So like this is an industry problem, guys. Like it's not Lee Serafim, it's not their fault. It might be Hybe's fault. I mean, we can definitely have a discussion on that, but it's definitely not the girls' fault. And I don't think that they should be the face of the can't sing movement because I don't think that they're the only ones who perpetuate it. It's crazy that we've done so many album reviews on Stray Kids, and the only time that I was like, oh, they can actually sing is when they're doing a shiny cover. Like, does that make sense? Because that doesn't make any sense to me. But that is literally the only time that I've ever thought to myself, like, wow, okay, maybe the Stray Kids member can actually sing. Because
That's
I don't feel like
sad.
their music doesn't really highlight it, right?
Nope.
Not at,
We just need to
right.
take the pins away from certain idols. And it just disappoints me when you have a group like Rise, who just debuted, but they do have members who really, really want to write and get involved. You have a group like TXT that have proven members who have proven they can write music well, and yet they don't get their songs chosen because and granted I could kind of understand why because if you write in stuff like BTSV like you never gonna pop off, right? Like he makes music for a niche audience, so you're never gonna pop
Absolutely.
off. So maybe that's the fear, but y'all need to let go of that fear because you have a group like TXT that can do it and are not allowed to, and then you got a group like Stray Kids. I don't really understand what happens in the studio. It's
The Three
not
Rajas studio,
magic.
yeah.
It's not good. You know what I mean? I joke a lot about Bang Chan and them because it's funny too, but like, but seriously though, I do think that their music doesn't highlight their strengths. Sorry,
No.
I keep cutting you off, but like this, I'm so passionate about this topic of like vocals because I was telling Ash earlier, for the first time in a long time since I got into K-pop, and it's really largely thanks to NCT Wish, but also Rise. I am realizing that like how important the talent aspect has always been for me, and why I kind of went through this phase where it's like I couldn't really listen to, like, I'm not that familiar with any fourth gen groups except for TXT, and that should tell you something. There's a lot of fourth gen groups and I don't really know any of them. And I've been hanging on to a thread with Shiny and NCT, and Shiny never really releases anything because they're a veteran group now, and then
Right.
and then NCT, who the fuck knows what's happening at SM Entertainment these days when it
Right.
comes to NCT. Like, not Wish because they just debuted, but like, you know, the NCT that we that debut while we were, what I'm trying to say. The point is
Right.
like, I feel like I've been missing that, and now that these fifth gen groups are coming out, and granted, I can't really get too into a lot of them because they do be making kids bop music sometimes. I
Yes.
do feel like some of the ones that don't are showing that, like, no, like, we have vocals, we have like a really talented dancer, we have somebody who can write music and is like passionate about it, and it's like, their job is more than just being like an influencer, for
Right.
Chanel or whatever. Sorry,
Right.
I just had to say that.
No, no. Yeah, no, I definitely agree in like the passion aspect of K-pop. It does. I do think there was a dip in the fourth gen for sure. Um, I That's why they made such a big deal about fifth gen boy groups actually being able to chart, because for most of the run of fourth gen, boy groups were not charting singles like at all. It was
Hmm.
all girl groups, and
Hmm.
yet these boy groups were million sellers. So, I mean, there was a huge disconnect with what people actually liked versus what the fans of these groups actually liked, and just like how that led to public conscience about these groups. Because I feel like, is 17 considered a third? 17 is third gen, right? Or are they fourth? They're third gen, right? Hello?
Um,
Let me see
I
when
don't.
17 debuted. Because I feel like 17 is probably one of the only K pop groups that's been around for a while, outside of BTS, obviously, that
Yeah.
has been very, very popular with the Korean conscience. Like, Korea loves 17. So they debuted in
They're
2015.
third gen. Sorry, I
So they're
had
third
to
gen.
step away from the mic.
That's okay. So they are third gen. Okay. So, outside of them, like, I feel like the way that boy groups used to be popular in Korea, there was a dearth of that in the fourth gen. And so I think that, you saying that, you're coming back to K-pop through fifth gen, and the fact that like RIIZE and these groups are able to chart singles once again on these charts, it's all connected, guys. It's not just a conspiracy like what we've been seeing lately about the hype situation. There
But
is a
even
connection.
like, even to just like, not even just like, they're just like also kind of individually popular in a way that
Right.
you haven't seen since the third gen. Like, third gen, you have like Cha Eun, who's like an individually popular, or like Con Daniel. You don't have that in fourth gen. Who's the fourth gen person who's like the spokesperson, who's always on something? That's a boy group. Nobody. But with fifth gen, Wonbin is the talk of the town on the boards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you
They love
have
his
like
hair.
representatives.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. This was a great discussion. Like, I enjoyed this. I didn't know it would turn into this, but I enjoyed that.
I did. Yeah, it was fun. All
Yeah.
right, so let us know what you guys thought about Coachella. You know, it was fine. I didn't think it was like as terrible as people people were trying to make it like it was a national disgrace or something. I didn't think it was that serious, like at all. like like Korea, you guys got bigger problems than some bum notes on a Coachella stage. Okay, you got actual like sexual assaulters who are in music and in dramas, who have been literally charged with these things and gone to jail and still have careers. I feel like those are bigger problems than a couple of bum notes, but that's just me. Anyways, let us get into the biggest story going on right now. uh, there's so much, so we're going to try to make this as concise and maybe like less complicated as we probably can. So there seems to be an issue between HYBE and Adore's CEO Min Hee Jin, because they had launched.
Wait.
Yes.
I think it's really important to explain that Adore is a subsidiary of Hype
Yes.
Labels.
Adore is a subsidiary of HYBE labels like Source Media, like Pledis, but I think Belief
Big
is,
Hit, B Lift Lab,
yeah, they do,
those are
and
all
Hypin.
subsidiaries.
Exactly. And so Min Hee Jin, who most people who are familiar with SME groups, Shiny and FX, they're very much aware of her and the type of person she is and the type of thing she's into. And for the rest of you, she was more of a creative director at SME, in my opinion, because a lot of the work that she did was visuals, not so much like she had a hand in the music, but she wasn't like a producer or anything like that. She wasn't writing lyrics. She was just more of putting the concept and the for that era together. So it was concise and it was like fresh and new and different. And that was her job at SME. She had a like semi-public falling out with SME, and then she was poached right away by HYBE, and the fans were happy. They were like, yeah, she left a very toxic environment. Now she's at HYBE. She's going to do great things. She did do great things. I mean, she launched New Jeans, and New Jeans were the it group from last year. The only group I think that even was competitive with them was Ivy at the time. And even probably to this moment, like more so like Espa and Ivy now, and Islet, obviously their sister group, maybe like a stepsister group. Okay, and so Islet debuted, I think like a month ago or whatnot, and I had believed that Islet was a group from Adore because I thought that the concepts were quite similar to New Jeans, and not just the fact that they're young, too young in my opinion, but young idols. I just thought like visually the concepts are very similar. It seems like Min Hee Jin also believed the same thing. And so allegedly she has been scheming behind the scenes like this is Dynasty, or I don't know, was that famous show about that family that was like sorry?
Succession.
Yeah, Succession. She was scheming behind the scenes to basically take over Adore, the company, and cut ties with HYBE because HYBE was the enemy. And allegedly, she put all of this on her computer, her work laptop, which is why HYBE had
That
launched
might
an
be the funniest part of this whole
like I don't even check my personal email on my work laptop, but much less scheme on how to like take over the company I run. You know what I mean? Like I think that's really
allegedly.
creepy. Allegedly. So HYBE has launched an audit. Well, I guess they had launched an audit of Adore and an unnamed executive within the company. The reason for this, and these are all alleged, guys, is that the company suspects them of leaking confidential information in order to attract investors with the purpose of getting HYBE to sell off Adore shares, which are currently at 80% HYBE, 18% Min Hee Jin, and 2% goes to the other Adore execs. So obviously they're trying to go independent. And also, HYBE had sent out a document that called for Min Hee Jin's resignation from the company. And so HYBE did confirm all of this stuff, and that they want to have a shareholder meeting in order to confirm their management rights, and they were trying to coordinate with, I guess, executives that they felt were not part of the plot with Min Hee Jin, and they were trying to. It looks like it was getting into a bit of a legal battle. So that's what kind of sparks everything. And then so Adore responded to HYBE, accused, and this is all, alleged stuff, guys. They accused B-Lift of copying New Jeans with Islet, which I did mention, and HYBE of being blinded by pursuit of short-term profits. Now, if you guys are avid listeners of our podcast, you know that we have also been very critical about HYBE's intentions with K-pop and their obsession with globalization because they can't let Latin America and Africa beat them or something. It's very strange. And also their obsession with just buying everything with all the money that they have and not really being in it for the music, but being in it for the popularity, the power, and the money. Greed, ruining our world, guys. But that's basically what, I have always felt has been HYBE's problem. And I think a lot of the problems in the industry of K-pop with the fourth gen have been directly directly connected to that. So this is one thing that I have to give her credit for, because I do agree that I believe that HYBE have also only focused on short-term profits, but um, they also kind of focused on this comeback and how Eyelet's debut has already sort of negatively impacted Nugent's comeback because of the fact that this alleged copycat situation has degraded the branding of Nugent's, and clarified that Belief or nor HYBE had permission to basically copy and paste their group. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Eyelet. Do you see the similarities between Eyelet and Nugent's?
Yep.
You were asking somebody that literally just saw their first New Jeans music video like 10 minutes ago. What do you think about your reaction?
I feel like New Jeans could have done magnetic in that entire like concept, and it would have been completely appropriate for their brand.
Now, sound wise, I do feel like Magnetic sounds like it came from the same group that did Hype Boy. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. But also, I think it's relevant for the situation is that Min Hee Jin didn't just plot and scheme on her work laptop. She actually did internally bring her complaints to the company, to HYBE, to their overlords as they are. And she claims that she was threatened with suspension and dismissal, which connects to the fact that they did ask for her resignation. And they, like, her team now, because she does have a lawyer, also claims that HYBE is doing media manipulation with regards to her reportedly trying to seize company rights, while her main complaint was always about copyright and plagiarism. And like, so she is basically saying that she never really was in it for the money. And I think when we get to some of the things she said at the press conference, she has really stressed the fact that it's always been about the team and the girls, a little too much about the girls, in my opinion. But it always has been about the creative aspect of making this group and making music with this group versus the money and the power, which, the overlords at HYBE have always been more important, more interested in. So this is when I think the story started to get, well, actually, this is when they started to get a little bit messy, because we did see media play from HYBE, which they're known for, in my opinion. But so a couple of the very serious things that were released about Min Hee Jin was that she actually like reached out to the families first of all, with, I guess, trying to get them on the side of maybe her and New Jeans sort of being their own thing and being disconnected from HYBE. And there was also some situations of her leaking like information about the girls themselves and about the company in order to make a sort of like a negative, sort of start negative rumors about them through, and sort of like connect it to them being connected to HYBE. So
You
that,
mean you mean leak information about New Jeans?
yeah, that was one of the
Okay,
things that I
I
had heard.
didn't realize. I don't know how my brain skipped over that allegation, because that actually would make sense as to why she kept bringing. Because I kept wondering, like, why does she keep stressing the fact that the girls are on her side?
Right, right. Because it's like a manipulation game, like if you make other people think badly or poorly about this thing that you want to control, basically, then they're going to feel like they need protection and you're the person to protect them. So they're going to cling on to you even more. Like, it's very like groomer,
Wow, that's a
manipulative.
great point.
Yeah, like emotional manipulation 101, I think. And so that was something that they had to confuse, like they had accused her of. And so Dispatch released, because Dispatch always got to be in the thick of things, okay? They released their own report saying that Min Hee Jin has been seeking independence for a while, citing industry insiders that say that she's been coveted managing rights of Adore, confirmed that she had obtained confidential information on HYBE, and say that HYBE already has a significant amount of evidence against Min Hee Jin. I think that this proves 100% without a doubt that Dispatch is under HYBE's payroll. One. Additionally, they report HYBE has evidence that she abused employees. So there were blinds that came out that I guess had resurfaced about her as a boss, and she did get scathing reviews, which is I don't think that's very surprising. Not just because of like what I've seen of her, but also because of Korea's like employment market. Like it seems hella abusive from people with power against the people who don't have power. So, and that's why burnout is very common in Korea. So I'm not surprised about that at all. But like people were saying, I don't know about Adore's structure, but as someone working from the domain side, I was left speechless. She's the worst villain in the office. She's really a crazy bitch. Adore or people working for the domain side are probably stunned. I'll never, ever, ever work with her again. If I die, and someone was like, "Oh, you too? Me too. I don't ever want to see her face again." And these are people from SME and from Adore who were saying this, okay? And they are all from like 2022, 2023. So they just resurfaced, but these are things that people were saying about her before any of this situation also came out. So,
Are these like verified accounts, or are these like people? You know how like sometimes people will pick up stuff from like comment section on a blog post, or was this like legit former SM employees or whatever?
well, they're blinds. So, I
Oh,
mean,
blind. Okay, sorry,
yeah,
they're blind.
they're blinds about her, but they're also blinds about her before oh, sorry, no. They were on Blind. So Blind is like Glassdoor, like a place for you to talk about companies that you work for, so people have an idea of like what
Oh,
the
I thought you meant
industry.
blind item. Okay.
I thought it was a blind item too, right? But yeah, it basically they were blinds about working for her. So that was the update then, and then they started talking about other groups. This thing is so crazy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just like really, really kind of crazy. Okay. So outside of her mentioning Islet, that everybody was kind of aware of, further reports say that HYBE's audit found 2 documents from an Adore exec that effectively spelled out their plans, whatever, we know that, right? So there was a sovereign wealth fund plan along with Adore execs who would be responsible for appealing to investors. And one contained Make Us Untouchable, and another was labeled Ultimate Escape, and another under Goals. So, like, they weren't just like evil villaining with this work computer, they were like putting Elmo in front of that fire on each of these so that you knew exactly what was going on. This is like some cartoon villain shit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But here's when Min Hee Jin went a little bit off brand. I mean, a lot of this has already been crazy. But in these documents, they quote Min Hee Jin telling others that Ban Hyuk, who HYBE former CEO, but
AKA Hitman Bang.
him and Bang, copied her for BTS as well, and also dragged in TWS and RIIZE into this by accusing them of also copying New Jeans.
Okay,
And
so you remember how you asked us earlier if we see
yeah,
the similarities between Islet? I can speak on this. I don't know nothing about TWS. We watched one music video of theirs, realized that it was Kids Bop, and was like, it's cute, but that's all I know. But with RIIZE, girl, where? Where? I mean, also, I kind of see it a little bit, I'm gonna be honest, but I think what it really comes down to is there's only so many different ways you can make a music video. You know what I mean? There's only so many things you can do.
right,
So it's
right,
like,
Especially when there's like a trending aesthetic, like, like the
right.
Y2K thing, it's like everyone's gonna do it a similar way,
right,
So it's
right,
like nobody owns that.
And if you really want to be technical about it, NCT actually kind of started what the boy groups are calling Y2K. Because what boy groups are doing is not Y2K to me. They're calling it Y2K because it's like baggy jeans and stuff. But NCT was dressing like they didn't have a stylist when they first debuted. And they've been dressing that way ever since in all of their comebacks. So I don't even think you can say it's one of those like it came from her brain. Like, come on now.
right. And then she started mentioning as well Lee Seraphim and G Friend from Source Music, who are another subsidiary company. And we all know about G Friend, guys. Unfairly disbanded for no reason. And they were a top group, or one of the top groups at the time. So it still, to this day, has left a sour taste in everybody's mouth. So I think she was really smart for bringing them up. But basically, she's saying that given SSERAFIM preferential treatment, and how her group, before New Jeans was actually a thing, was supposed to be the first girl group to debut under this new sub-label concept with HYBE, and that SSERAFIM was pushed first at the expense of New Jeans, even though, like, from all accounts, they were all trainees from Source Music. So that she had gone from. Also, I want to mention something. I
Girl,
noticed
you
that
already talking. Just say it.
this is a little off topic, but one thing that I did not like when I was reading the report from Min Hee Jin, when she was talking about how she discovered the girls at Source Music, was she mentioned with, I don't know if it was Minji or Hani I think it was one of them, but she mentioned that she was so beautiful then, even more beautiful than she is now. I'm sorry, but I feel like that woman should be removed from having
Wait,
any
she
contact with
said
any
that
children. Like, I'm sorry.
she said that about a New Jeans member.
She said that about a New Jeans member. It was
Bro,
very
what?
strange.
They're like 4 years old. Those are like
Yeah,
literal babies.
right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we gotta get her out of here.
Yeah, she has this weird obsession with like youth and beauty and like
Lolita.
yeah, Brooke Shields, that kind of weird, uncomfortable stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think she's smart. I do think she's smart with playing the G friend card, because there were a lot of, like, tension between people who were fans of G Friend, and still continue to be even after their disbandment, and SSERAFIM, because they're from the same company. And some SSERAFIM fans were saying that G Friends were flops, which is absolutely not the fucking truth. Like, Rough had the record of, like, the longest running song on a chart, on, like, a music chart, because it was there for, like, over a year, I think, or something like that. Like, G Friend were definitely not flops. But I do think that pitting SSERAFIM against New Jeans with what she was saying, and then mentioning, like, G Friend and passing, has sort of brought up a lot of that tension against HYBE, and obviously against SSERAFIM, in a time where SSERAFIM is getting a lot of negative press. So I think that that's one thing that she did that was really smart. And if you didn't think that that wasn't crazy enough, because it was crazy, but apparently HYBE say that a shaman coaching her through long cacao talks, where they obtain, like, and HYBE said they got this from forensics and whatever. So the shaman appeared to gain her trust by saying she was inhabited by the spirit of a close younger relative, which I guess is a real good way to get her. And they say that the plan to obtain these management rights coincides with the advice from the shaman that they gave to her in 2021 to take back the company in 3 years. So it looks like she was making management decisions based on this shaman. And also that she consulted the shaman on which people to hire, which jobs to give them at Adore. And HYBE says that they confirm most of the applicants who receive positive shaman evaluations are the ones that pass the recruitment.
Okay. I have a take on this
Sure.
because, on the one hand, I think this woman sounds like a terrible person who
Right.
does not deserve to be in the position she's in. On the other hand, it's hella funny for HYBE to put this as an allegation for so many reasons. Number one being, it's not unheard of for that to happen.
Right.
I'm not saying it's a Korean thing, but I am saying that it's not unheard of to consult shamans for big major life decisions or big major decisions in Korea. That is something that you can look up and research. Like, shamanism is big there. Number two, I don't know if you might get into this, but they have some of their own, like, mystical conspiracy type stuff in their own right. So it's just kind of ironic to be like, she was making bad business decisions because it was from the advice of a shaman. But it's like, is it any different if the advice is from a shaman or a cult leader? Like, do it make a difference?
I think, yeah, no, I agree. My opinion on this whole thing is just that, so, okay. I personally don't think you should be giving, company secrets. Anything that's supposed to be confidential should not be shared with, no matter who it is. If they're not If they don't have the rights to have that information, then they shouldn't. So by all
Sure,
accounts,
but somebody who wants to take down major corporations might disagree with you.
right. Right. But if she goes to them for advice, I absolutely don't see any problem with that, because if she had been Christian and said that she went to her pastor before she wanted to make a big decision, people would be applauding her right now. So I don't really think that, like, I feel like the shaman thing really did kind of rub me the wrong way for that reason, because I feel like if she had gone to the appropriate person in the appropriate religion, it would not have been a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like,
like,
I mean, this is coming from like a company where it's like it's so funny to like. Don't get me wrong, she deserves to lose her job, not
right,
for the shaman thing. I mean, maybe I don't know. It depends
maybe,
on how you
maybe,
think about that. But
right,
the point is it's just funny to me because it's like this is like the same type of company that adheres to the policy of putting your picture on your resume because apparently if you're more beautiful that makes you better at your job. And
right,
beautiful according to who? I guess Bang PD with his 25-year-old wife, but you know, we're not gonna go there. So or girlfriend. But the point is like I just find that really does rub me. That allegation specifically rubs me the wrong way, as well as it just kind of comes off as now you're just trying to throw anything. But
right,
at the same time, I do get why it will be a concern because you should be making business decisions that are well informed. The thing is, though, you can't really like. I think the whole idea of running a business. Okay, so this is kind of a tangent, but I think it's kind of a farce if you think about it because you can't predict anything. There's no way to
no,
predict whether anything is going to be successful in any line of business that you run. Like literally, you cannot predict a market. There's a reason why economics is like a theory. It's like it's not a real thing that you can apply in real life. You know what I mean? For
right,
the most part. So it's like, however you making your decisions, in a way, it's like you can say that, oh, I'm doing it according to the numbers and the data and da da da. Da. It's like, but the numbers and the data could say one thing, and then the reality is a total different thing. So it's really, let's just be completely transparent here. Like they were trying to connect her, almost like I feel like they did this on purpose to be like, look at her, she's crazy. And you didn't really have to do that to show us that she's crazy. Like
right,
the
right.
evidence was already there.
Everything else has showed us that we're not dealing with somebody who is
Like
sound.
well adjusted. This was
No,
like her entire press conference was like not her entire not the entire thing because I didn't watch the whole thing, but the clips I saw, it was like she was like cussing Bang Hitman Bang out. She called him a segi, if you know what that means. She was calling him a ajoshi, which is not. I mean, if you're Min Hee Jin, apparently that's an insult, but it's not an insult in reality. But you know, Min Hee Jin don't like nothing older than adult. So the point is like we already knew something was wrong with this woman. You
right,
know what I mean?
right,
This just kind of comes off as like you just spiteful or something.
right, right.
So
Exactly, exactly. So we, okay. So she did discuss the shaman in the press conference, which we'll get it to right now. And basically, she just said that she was curious. So she asked the shaman, she's like, how are we to plan our steps if the company's ace team are going to the military or not? Which I think is like, first of all, it's not like the shaman is gonna like put a curse or some shit like that on
I'm
BTS
just
to make
seeing
him go to the military. Like, what do you,
the way that the article or the way that HYBE makes it sound like is like
right?
she put a hex on them,
I
and
know,
it's like
right?
but also to talk about it as if it's like a major punishment instead of something they was gonna have to do anyway. You know what I mean? Like it
By
was
all
like it
accounts,
was a
proud of.
choice.
Right, exactly. But one thing that she does mention is I'm going to report HYBE for privacy infringement. They're censoring my messages. And like, I mean, you have definitely put yourself in a situation like, where did you get those messages from? Like, I mean, it could be that she had them all under a file called Shaman Friend or something like that on her computer, but it could also be that you hacked her phone and that's where you got that information from. So, like, I feel like we're just getting messier and messier with everything that's going on. But to talk about the
Well,
press,
also, I guess I do want
yeah,
to say real quick too. There's
sure,
the other aspect of Lee Ji Won and people suspecting that there was something going on between her and him because,
yeah,
like the CEO, because like it sounds like at least from the clips I heard of her talking, it sounds like she's like, oh, he's like my trusted friend, but then he's spilling all my secrets to Bang PD.
right,
So it
right.
just sounds like maybe that's how they were getting her private
That could
information.
be
I
it
don't know.
too. Yeah, no, absolutely. But yes, let's talk about the press conference where she showed up in her house clothes. Clearly, like she like we know Korea's very, very visually, forward. Uh, she showed up there like she was stressed, and I think obviously that was something that was coached. Okay, so she got emotional, explosive at this press conference. Jimin mentioned that she literally swore, or she was starting to swear, and her lawyer was like, "No, no, 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 no!" Don't." She was like, "Oh no!" and she stopped herself like mid swear. It was really funny. I feel like her lawyer was more stressed out than anybody at that press conference because it was crazy. She was crying. There was one part where she was like, "No, no," like I, I thought the whole thing was a farce. Like it was like a Tyler Perry like climatic scene. You know what I mean? Like that's how the press conference felt when I was watching the clips of it. Some of the highlights were obviously the infamous text messages between her and Hitman Bang that she had on a big screen where he wanted to step on or defeat Espa. Espa,
Wait,
who's just out here minding their business.
I just gotta say the visual of like showing a slide show presentation of screenshots from your cacao talk is just so funny. This is a professional press conference, y'all.
Right. It was crazy. So she was basically framing herself as the artist. Like that's how I know how you guys like read the whole thing. If
Oh
you
no, I think everybody took away that she was like, I'm just this torture artist that's being stifled and I don't have any freedom or creativity or to express my creativity, and even my contract says I can't leave,
right.
which is standard, by the way. Like non-competes are very standard, so that's kind of funny. But
Right, right. But yeah, so she basically like did that, but she also kind of framed HYBE as this evil conglomerate that doesn't care about anything but money. Like they sleep on like Grandpa Duck, what's his name from DuckTales? I can't remember his actual name. But you know the scene when he's like diving into that pool of money, like the coins?
Scrooge
Scrooge
McDuck.
McDuck, yes. Like that's how they were positioned in HYBE and him and Bag for sure.
but did she lie?
She did not lie. That's the thing. She did not. So it got to a point where netizens even made a diss track with Min Hee Jin's lines, guys. That's a thing that exists, okay? One of my favorite scenes is when she's crying or fake crying, because I didn't see no tears, okay? But she was fake crying at the table, and the cameramen were all around her. I don't know if you saw that. I can
That
send you
that
the video.
image is just crazy to see. Like that picture is so like, because it's like, why were it's just the whole situation is so absurd that like if it wasn't for some very serious allegations against her, like it would just be a hilarious like moment that nobody would even think twice of, like, you know what I mean? Man.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
So, well, I'm reading this. It didn't really actually say much else of what she was talking about. I mean, like that was like more of a summary. And
Well,
then,
she another thing she stressed a lot was
mhm,
like basically New Jeans is on her side and New Jeans'
yes,
parents is on her side, and she kept saying
yes,
like Lee Ji-won, I think it's Lee Ji-won, she kept saying
yes,
him and Bang PD, they don't care about New Jeans at all, and it's so clear. And she kept saying things like one thing that I remember her saying specifically was like, these are my children. I've given
yeah,
birth to them. And it's like
yeah,
their parents are going through a messy divorce and they're caught in the middle. She's like, I treat them like my babies. Like she was like, I was like, okay, but you kind of act weird around them. So like, not even kind of, you do act weird around them. So it's like, it's hard for me to take this whole mother act seriously when you be doing weird shit.
right. And like, I remember specifically her saying as well too that like one of the members, I don't know if it was Danielle, but one of the members called her and cried for like half an hour on the phone.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I don't
Mhm.
know which
That
member,
was
but she did say that.
really, really giving groomer behavior. Because like, why is this child doing this? Why? What's going on? Like, this is very strange. And
I
then
mean, I
Hyde,
feel like I feel like if this is like your mentor and a trusted adult is one thing, this is your boss. You know what I
right?
mean? Like,
Mhm.
and this woman also is known for being sketchy around kids. So that's what I think is the it's not like Min Hee Jin is like their actual mother. This is like just
Right.
a random
Mhm.
woman who inherited them as their boss, and she's treating it like it's a family, because like it's not you can't say it's like, for example, people would make the joke, oh, Taemin is Lee Suman's favorite kid
Right.
kind of thing. And it's like, but you could See, I don't know anything about Lee Soo-man. He could be a predator or anything, but I do feel like in the interactions you could see like a clear kind of like there was no blurring of whatever the it's not like I'm your mentor and I don't know how to explain it. It was like you could tell who had all the money and the power and who didn't.
Right.
This
Right.
makes it seem like she almost tries to frame it like she's on the same level as New Jeans of like we just are both like victims of hype, and I'm just like that's not
But
what.
Defend.
honestly, it was
Yeah.
also obviously very calculated to me because it's, to me, it fits that narrative of HYBE is all about the money and they don't care about their artists, but I care about my artists. They're like family and I care about what happens to them, and, you know, that makes me a better human being or whatever. I feel like that also, for her fits that narrative that she's trying to spin.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, I do think that, like, first of all, if she didn't like the contract, I don't know why she signed it. Like,
Right.
that was one thing, right? I know she did go and like try to explain that as a woman, lady businesswoman, in a lady business person, sorry, in Korea, it's really hard, and she would have had to get investors, and like the whole process was just really complicated and hard, specifically because she's a woman and in this industry. So she said that it was easier, like, for her to get straight to what she's good at, which is the torture creative artist part, by having this sub label through HYBE, and that her overlords just infringed on her, and that's usually the cause of this thing. And I do think it's like, as you said, it was very like manipulative and very intentional with how she framed herself, and she seems to be winning in Korea. They're very pro her side. Like, people are starting to not like HYBE. I think were kind of starting to do that before with all the they can't sing allegations and the G Friend stuff, but it seems like now there really is a tide turning against them in Korea. And so after this press conference, as funny as it was, HYBE at first was like, "Oh, we ain't responding to that. That's crazy." But then they came back and responded to it.
I'm
like
so
everything.
dumb. I was like, okay, it was clear you just didn't have a response right at that moment. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm. So
that's all I'm
basically,
saying.
she was like, the takeover plans that were in her work computer. She said that they were joking or casual, like, ha ha ha, let's do this actual stuff, but we're just going to joke about it. And HYBE said that the discussions happened over a course of several months, and that casual talk is no longer such when it's done repeatedly and involves third parties. And they also point out that the executive who claims to have wrote or written the escape plan on a work computer are basically
Escape plan.
basically it's basically a vent and exercise, has knowledge of HYBE's IPO and M&A stuff. And they saw that there was actual like calculations and timings for exercising put options, as well as infringement lawsuits, potential investors, winning over the public, et cetera, et cetera. They said that like it was just too well thought out for it to be a joke, basically. So they addressed Min Hee Jin, who said that she was not being monetarily compensated, and they said her HYBE says her claimed 2 billion won salary was only her 2023 performance incentive, and that her actual salary and long-term investments are separate. She has stock compensation that's separate. Her salary is the highest among individuals at HYBE HQ and Korean subsidiaries, and what she requested in negotiation was unreasonable. Uh,
I
Min
don't
Hee
doubt
Jin's
it.
Right. Min Hee Jin's complaint was, Min Hee Jin, one thing that she has repeatedly said, that she sent a complaint when Islet was being created, when TWS was being created. She was like, "What the f? Like, these are copying me. Clearly, don't do that." And they said that they responded to her complaint about plagiarism, and basically her idea of the response was the audit and raid of Adora, but that she's, I guess they're trying to claim is that they actually did pay attention to her. They didn't ignore her and treat her like a crazy lady. Even though I kind of believe that they did. I think that they saw the complaints and that she was mentioned in TWS, ILA, RIIZE and stuff like that, and they're like, "Ooh, let's deal with that next month or the end of the month or something like that." I do believe that. They do also defend SSERAFIM. And also they say that basically NewJeans wasn't HYBE's first girl group due to Min Hee Jin's own request. I'm not gonna get into it because it seems really complicated, but they're saying basically that SSERAFIM debuted first because she's the one who requested it, and so it's not their fault.
Well, all I
I
know is I don't trust either party, but I will say that I'm gonna need HYBE to start producing some receipts because words is just words is just words.
right.
You don't have no evidence, so
Well, they supposedly like collected all of this evidence from her computers and stuff, and like they supposedly have all this stuff on her. Of
Right.
course, they haven't said what that is, but
well, I'll believe it when I see it. Even though
Yeah.
well, okay. I mean, I'm not saying I don't believe it. It's not unbelievable, but like the whole hostile takeover, blah blah blah, all these things. It just, in a way, it almost seems so ridiculous that it's. I could see why people wouldn't believe it because it's like, why are you just typing this on your work computer? That's just so stupid.
And labeling it like escape plan. Like I
Takeover
just don't.
plan.
Why are you doing that? And yeah, I don't know. One thing that was like also really really interesting was that she was saying that HYBE neglected promoting NewJeans. And HYBE again cite the answer to the complaint, saying they sent 273 press releases for NewJeans in 2023, compared to 659 for Big Hit with 8 artists, BTS plus all the individual members. Does that count though? Okay.
But and also that doesn't look good on you. I hope you know that. Like,
Right. And
especially
36,
since now that they've done that though, armies
yeah,
have come out the woodwork and said the only person that got promoted from BTS was Jungkook, and that's true. That is
right.
very true because
Absolutely.
I don't even remember Jimin and V releasing, but they did, and yet Jungkook was everywhere. Jungkook was performing all over the world, so
Right.
that doesn't look good on your end.
Right. And also the 365 for Pledis Entertainment with 4 artists. Because then the Fromis 9 fans came out and were like, did we just get one of those? The 365? Which I believe because I never heard anything about Fromis 9. Like I forgot that they were an active group, to be honest. So yeah. And I guess the latest sort of situation is that there are allegations, including cult association. So HYBE is currently confirming. So I always think it's funny when these companies or these artists come out and be like, "Oh, we're investigating this," and what you're investigating is yourself, because I feel like you should already know the answer. But whatever. HYBE is currently confirming his position on allegations of the rumors surrounding alleged leaked BTS concept plagiarism and cult association. So, first, the allegations of leaked court rulings and concept plagiarisms are related to The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, which was released in 2015, which is the foundation and core of BTS's worldview. And this is where they reached number 1 with I Need You, beautiful song. And it was a turning point where they became, the BTS that took over the world, basically, right? So online, there are circulating partial court rulings from 2017 regarding Group BTS's agency being prosecuted for illegal marketing practices. So according to the reports at the time, a person known as A was prosecuted on charges of extortion, allegedly threatening the agency officials by saying, "I have evidence of illegal marketing. If you don't pay, I will expose the related information to the media." Okay. Uh, so A was accused of extorting a total of 57 million won in 8 instances. And A was once known as a person involved in BTS's illegal marketing practices. And apparently they only got a 1-year prison sentence. So A's crimes were very bad as he exploited the secret information he learned about his business partner for personal gain. However, considering that the victim also had wrongdoing by resorting to illegal marketing and providing grounds for extortion, it was taken into account. So,
I'm
weird.
sorry, just every time you say illegal marketing,
Okay, so it's weird because the court ruling explicitly states that the phrase exploiting counterfeit marketing to embezzle money is also included in this. But at the time,
how
BTS's
do you
side
counterfeit marketing? Like,
I
what does that
don't
even
know.
mean?
A lot of this doesn't make real sense to me, to be quite honest. Like, I am trying to wrap my brain around it, and I'm like, tell us what they did. Don't do this, the word, like, tell us exactly what happened, okay? I need to see exactly what's going on. I need to see these, like, the court papers, I guess. So BTS's side refuted A's claim, stating that it was a unilateral and conventional online marketing, an online viral marketing. Apparently, person A also put up a post because there's screenshots of a post titled BTS illegal marketing streaming. I am the culprit on the Blue House's online petition board. The author claimed to have promised illegal music streaming of BTS's songs and threatened the agency but received no compensation, leading to a 1-year sentence. They said the agency officially announced that it was just simple viral marketing, but I couldn't write about it in the press. So, so it was
are they
online
talking about?
illegal streaming. Oh,
Yeah, okay.
that's what we were talking about, right?
So jiggy. Yeah, that's just so
Yeah.
jiggy. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that's basically what it is. Okay. See, I'm happy
Or
that they
payola or something.
payola. Like, I'm
Simple.
happy that they put that information out because that makes sense then. Oh, so they did. Okay, so they did the. Okay, so that's crazy that you know, I guess did all this stream farming or whatever, and then you went back to the company and said, "I'm the one who did it, so you need to pay me now." That's kind of crazy. That's kind of ballsy, in my opinion. Okay.
I mean, but what they gonna do? Tell you no? Like, you know what I
Especially
mean?
when
It's
it's
one
the
of those things.
groups
You
come up.
have receipts, yeah.
Right, right. It came at such a pivotal moment for BTS that if people had found out, it might have been over for them.
This is crazy in a sense because it almost just feels like I know like it's one of those things where it's like armies are always like, oh, BTS is organic success, which we know that no K-pop boy group is truly organic because you just can't be right. Like when you have fans like bulk buying and stuff like that. This is interesting. Okay.
Oh, I mean, the trajectory of BTS could have been forever altered if that had come out at the time. That's crazy.
At the
Anyways,
time, emphasis.
yeah, yeah. Secondly, a former model and magazine editor with the pseudonym B wrote a tweet on their Twitter account on the 26th and the 27th, retweeting a video of a press conference by Min Hee Jin from Adore, stating, "I also had grievances against against that representative for stealing my ideas." So B detailed the situation from the day that they met the representative, rumored to be him and Big, before the release of the album The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, to the conversation they had regarding the album's title, concept, similar photo shoot to the one they collaborated with the photographer on, and the exact words they used in interviews. They mentioned that they got inspiration, from a manga. B then added, after giving those ideas innocently, I didn't receive any news, and later I saw in an announcement from the company that they were recruiting an art director team, but there was no contact. And so they also wrote a post expressing their frustration back in 2022. So this is not. K-Nets are real good about pulling out receipts, yo. So this is not even something that's capitalizing on the situation. This is an old grievance. Mind you, lastly, there are allegations that HYBE is closely connected to a cult and that they have been involved in its management. Although the cult presents itself as a meditation group, on the surface, it has been alleged to have characteristics that go beyond the boundaries of a cult. What are beyond the boundaries of a cult?
Exactly. We're talking about like what is worse than a cult within cult?
I'm so confused.
Like, are we
Now, do y'all
talking about
remember?
like Cthulhu or like those like death cults? I mean, like what?
Maybe they mean okay, you know how there's cult, right? But then there's like secret society
Huh?
where it's
Okay.
like they sacrifice like I don't know the blood of like baby goats and stuff like that. Like maybe it's something like that. That's a crazy allegation though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's an
Wow.
episode in season 2 of Buffy where like these cult boys like they sacrifice a frat girl or something like that to this giant snake demon, and like that's what their fathers did, and that basically just brings them good luck or good whatever from the demon. So maybe that's what they're saying is going on here. I
Okay,
don't
because the
know.
difference between a cult and a secret society is like a cult is all about the cult leader, right? Like it's all about worshiping the cult leader at the end of the day. But secret society is like everybody actually believes in whatever it is they're doing, and they'll do whatever it takes to it's not just that the cult there's a leader who makes them feel good about themselves. It's also like if we don't do this mystical practice, the whole world is going to end. So everything depends on us right now. I think that, or either that,
Mm.
or they're trying to stay young for the rest of their lives.
I think though what they might mean is that, I mean, I obviously don't know anything about what cult they would be connected to and all that kind of stuff
Well,
yet,
they've been
but
connected to Dan World.
Dan World. Okay, that makes sense. Yes, you sent us the Reddit post about it. Okay. Anyways, what I was going to say is that maybe what they mean about them, going beyond the boundaries of a cult is that the people who have power, I guess, in this cult also have a presence in the business world. So like there's that formal, acceptance of them in professional spaces. So like where the cult stuff is also influential, but it's not being publicly connected to the cult in the same way. So
Oh,
maybe that's what
y'all,
they
this is crazy. Wait, I hate to cut you off, but I was just
mean.
Googling stuff about Dan World. And like, you know how sometimes if it's been posted on Twitter, it'll come up on Google as like a preview. But when I clicked
Right.
into the Twitter, it's like this post has been deleted for everything. And it was just posted 14 hours ago.
That's crazy.
Ain't that suspicious? Okay, okay. Sorry. I didn't even cut you out. That was
Yeah.
suspicious to me.
No. I mean, the HYBE Den were like a lot. It's funny. I keep like putting it in the Twitter search, and it's just like not just people. Twitter's algorithm don't even be giving you like really good information sometimes. Sometimes it's just people putting that in there, right? So Danward
Dan
founder
World.
is the president of Global Cyber University, which is a famous university a lot
No
of idols
freaking way. Do
have
you remember
graduated
when I was
from.
just telling y'all that earlier?
Yeah.
Mm.
I was just telling Nat and Ash something about that sexual assault controversy. I'm looking at their Namu wiki. They have a sexual assault controversy. So yeah, it's definitely a cult.
Mm.
Yikes.
It says in 2009, 27 former female members of Dom World in the United States filed several complaints, complaining that they had been sexually assaulted by the president Sung Han Lee, but all were dismissed. Ooh, that's sketchy. According to believers, Dan World forces members to bow 3,000 times without stopping for one night, makes members stick their heads in the toilet or lick the other members' feet, and perform certain postures such as push ups 20 times at a time. It is said that he made her drunk for 30 minutes. That's crazy. Oh,
Uh,
also, Don World is connected to politics in Korea as well, not just
Of
HYBE.
course.
Apparently that oh wow. So apparently Don World promotes the idea that man and God are one and followers are said to worship Magu. Magu was a song from G Friend. It was their last single, their last title track before they were disbanded.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I'm gonna put the link in here. This is
What?
actually very interesting. Learning about because Korean netizens kept talking about the cult itself, like as the connection with them, but they didn't talk about the actual cult. Because I was like, so what does the cult work? Like, what is their quote
Their
unquote
beliefs.
selling point?
Yeah.
And all I kept seeing was like, oh, they do yoga and stuff like that. Which is remember how I showed y'all the TXT thing where they were talking about, oh yeah, we meditate according to this particular meditation, which is one of the Dom World things. But like I'm
Mm.
looking into it and it is a straight up cult. It's a legit cult. It's a crazy cult. Probably up there with
Wow.
Scientology in terms of their
Yeah.
beliefs.
Yeah. It looks like apparently one of the issues of conflict too was that Min Hee Jin did not want New Jeans to show any sort of symbolism with this cult. And if they're really, as connected as people say that they're connected, that would make sense, right? I mean, I generally believe that all K-pop groups and companies are basically cults because, like, not the groups themselves, but like the
Their
fan,
followers are.
their followers definitely treat it like it's a cult. I feel like JYP is like the man is the only one saying the quiet part out loud right now
Because he's a
with his
dumbass, but yes.
with his online Bibles, and also it just came out that he's a Zionist. I haven't really looked into it, but that's a big tweet going around right now as well too,
Yeah.
which not surprising in some cases. But
Predictable.
anyways, yes. So that is kind of a rundown in case you're confused, you're not sure what's going on. You know, I try to make it a little bit lighter because it is really heavy stuff, and I do feel really bad for the girls in New Jeans, both because of everything that's going around like surrounding their comeback, but also because I think that Min Hee Jin is a creeper. So I just really don't want her around these girls anymore. But also I think that HYBE's evil. So like, I it's a very nuanced yeah, this it's a
No
very nuanced
one.
situation because everybody is wrong and the people who are going to be most affected by it are the girls, in my opinion. Not their fans because like I'm sorry, I just like what? You're not a victim in this, okay? The girls are the victims, okay? But yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're gonna definitely get some more news. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let me pause.
Yes. So yeah, I hope that I can't remember what I was saying before. But yes, we're all like there are no winners here. There are only losers, unfortunately, who have too much money and seem to be very bored. But yes, we hope for the best for the girls in New Jeans, and we will definitely keep you abreast of the situation as we get more information, or more things get leaked in this very public
Yeah.
battle between.
Very suspicious how my computer froze and felt like that when I was looking up Dama World. So just saying. But
Right,
yes, agreed.
right. It's like when we used to do Twitter Spaces a lot during COVID, and anytime somebody mentioned JYP, like the man, literally the Twitter Space would crash. It was crazy.
Mm.
Oh, you know a lot of people, I guess. Anyways, our last story is very light and fun.
Depends on how you think of it. So I
Yes.
will introduce this story. I want to put it. There's a video that goes along with it, but for the uninitiated, Haechan and Mark of NCT 127 and NCT Dream have recently been in, I guess, a room together. I don't know why I said that way. Basically, Haechan has a show with Doyoung where people eat with them and talk, I guess. And Mark and Johnny from NCT guested on the show. And for if you don't know, Mark and Haechan don't have the greatest working relationship. They are known to basically no, okay, they don't hate each other, but they are known to argue a lot and have a lot of problems to the point where people will even say that it's like actually serious. Like how some idols argue for the bit, on their varieties. No, Haechan and Mark sometimes look like he want to be strangling Haechan. Well, Mark and Haechan finally told the story behind it, and I thought that we could talk about it just as like a light last thing. Maybe it's light, maybe it's not. But I think we should watch the Twitter video. What do you guys think? See
Yeah,
what's going
I'm
on.
Sure.
good.
All right, come into the watch together. I'm gonna put the Twitter video up.
Okay, I'm in there. Yeah.
All right, we are here. I'm about to push
Yep.
play. Y'all
Yep.
ready? Okay, we're about to figure out why Mark and Haechan used to argue.
Okay. That is not what I was
Okay, that
expecting.
conversation. Wait, what were
I
you
don't know, like
expecting?
you expect like some like battle for food or the room. Like I feel like a lot of boy bands usually fight over food for some weird reason, but also just like rooms, or like you're just having a bad day and somebody is like needling you, or like somebody has a bad attitude. Like I was expecting something like that, more so like an attitude problem, and not something about like
Hmm.
Haechan being in the sixth grade and being too touchy feely with Mark and kissing him unprovoked. Like that's not something I was expecting.
Not Well, so yeah, as you guys, the listeners, you've heard, that's the story of what happened and why they have such a tense relationship. Because Haechan, in Haechan's words, he lost control and he kissed Mark and all these like Popo, like all these things. And I thought it was really funny because at the end, Johnny tried to
Right.
clean it up, and Johnny was like, "Well, the important part was that you were a kid, and at that age, people do that." And when he said that, and there's nothing. I obviously listened to it in Korean, but also watched the translation. And the translation is correct, but it's almost like, why did Johnny feel the need to clean it up? It wasn't nothing like dirty. It almost like he
Right.
he tried to clean it up as if to like make it seem like something bad happened. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So I was just like, maybe this is just like a farce, and maybe because the tea used to be, and this is just rumors, this is allegations. The rumors used to be that like people had problems with Haechan because he kept like allowing sasaengs to come into their like dorm. That was what the tea used to be. That's why they were fighting. But the point is like, I'm just like, he made it worse than what it actually sounded like at first by adding that on. I just thought it was a funny story personally, of just being like, just it's just cute and funny, and I like Haechan, I like Mark, And it was always, people always wondered like, why do they seem to like fight all the time, and they seem to hate each other. And so this story, them telling that story on the show is just refreshing, because at least it sounds like it wasn't that serious.
Right,
So
right.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do agree with Johnny. Like Johnny cleaning it up maybe makes it seem a little bit more insidious. Like, is this homophobic? Is that why you have to clean it up?
yeah, or
Yeah,
so, or it just any
right.
number of things. Like, I'm not saying
No, no,
Johnny's
no.
homophobic, not neither is Nat, but like the point is like it sounded a little bit sketchy.
Yeah.
Even like just listening to it, it's like, okay, you didn't need to say, like, we get it. Yeah, they were
Right.
young, but boys do that at that age, but also like boys do that at 23, which is
Yeah.
how old they are.
I
So
do,
okay.
yeah, no, I do like it though that like Mark didn't come across like, ooh, this boy kissed me. He was just like, it came out of nowhere. Like,
And then, wait, what made it funny to me? Mark was like, but it was in front of adults. Usually, you don't do
right,
that in front of adults.
right.
I was like, what are you talking about? Like, Mark's way of like telling a story is just so fun. Like, he just thinks of the weirdest like
Angle.
elements to add
Yeah.
onto the story. It's just like, okay,
Exactly. So yeah, I mean
so
it's cute and
very fun.
it's obvious that they are kind of past it. I think Mark is really happy to have like the truth come out too. I think like he's
Yeah, because he was like, "Oh, we can finally
lay this
like,
to rest.
express it, since we're, yeah, like, since we're those type of that level of celebrity now, that we don't have to worry about the image or
Exactly.
anything." Yeah,
Exactly.
it's
Mhm.
So
very
yeah,
fun.
good to know.
Okay, well, those were the topics. Very
Yay.
fun. Well, very problematic and a little bit fun. Now we are going to get into the final segment of the show, which is one of my favorite segments. We've done this before. It's called Featured, where we feature a Nugu artist. And by Nugu, I mean an artist from SM Entertainment. And this week's artist is Nat.
Risey. Is it Risey or Rise?
It's definitely just
Okay,
Rise.
Rise. Yeah.
Woo.
Sometimes I don't know what they be stressing in these K-pop groups. Okay, you got to be careful. Anyways, yes, it is RIIZE. So RIIZE is short for Rise and Realize. Ooh, very very cool. Is a seven-member. So RIIZE is a seven-member boy group under SM Entertainment. The members are Shotaro, Unsuk, Sungchen, Wanbin, Sunghan. Isn't Sunghan the one who's on a sabbatical or like a leave or hiatus or something like that?
Sunghan. We'll
Okay,
talk about that.
Sohee and Anton. That
Anton.
that is like the most random name in this whole group. Yeah.
Well, okay, so let's get some background about why the names are
Yes.
so random. Shotaro is
Yes.
Japanese.
No,
That's
no, no.
obvious.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fine. I'm just saying Anton. That was
Oh, so Anton is born and raised in, he moved to Korea like 2 years ago to
ah
become an
okay.
idol. He actually was on a reality show with his dad when, as like growing up as a kid. The show was, I guess, filmed in America most of the time or something like that, but it was like for the Korean audience, so it was like, like a Korean
Yeah.
show. And it showcased basically their family life with like his little brother and his mom
Aw.
and his dad. And it wasn't about him, it was actually like about his dad, from my understanding. His dad is a major producer in South Korea. He was very famous when he was in his 20s, point where people are like, "Anton, your dad, I stand your dad," like that kind of thing. And some fun facts about the members of RIIZE. Shotaro is the leader. He is 2000 line. He was originally like supposed to be a part of NCT, sort of. But then I guess they decided not to put him in NCT after 3 years of promoting with NCT,
That was so weird.
which
Yeah.
very SM coded to not know what the hell you're doing. But Shotaro is actually a professional dancer, if I'm not mistaken. Like, actually, that is his first job. He grew up dancing. Wanbin he's the visual, but like also like lead singer, and he's also a trained guitarist, which we'll look at later. Anton, as I mentioned, is famous for basically being a nepo baby, but also he's very talented. He can sing. He's one of the singers. Dancing is not something he should do, but he can sing. He's also a trained cellist and a former competitive swimmer. He loves like creating music, so I hope to hear like some of the music that he allegedly has been writing. So he is a trained singer. He's been singing since he was also an infant, and he has a lot of covers of a lot of songs all over YouTube from pre-debut, and I love his voice. I am literally obsessed with his voice. He sounds, I said this earlier, he sounds like somebody who was trained to sing in theater. And he did this performance of like a gospel song. I don't know if it was like some gospel artist, but the point is he sounded like a true theater kid, or like a choir kid, and we love to hear it. Unsog is Unsog. Nobody knows anything about him because he just randomly joined SM Entertainment. Literally, the group members will say, "We just met this man a couple weeks ago. We don't know him." But he has been assigned the classic 4D personality, so you'll be expecting him to be 4D until he turns 30 when he can be himself. Sungchan was as another member who was supposed to debut, who's part of the Young Line. He was supposed to debut with NCT, but didn't work out. He should be the visual, in my opinion, but he has been assigned to be a rapper, kind of like what they did with Chanyeol, which is just
Right.
disrespectful. Sunghan is the final member. He's not the Magne. Like I said, Anton is the Magne. He just turned 20 like a couple weeks ago. Sunghan is I don't want to say a former member because he's not officially out of the group, but the reports have been coming in that apparently he's going to college, which means that he's not an idol because we know idols don't
Right.
go to school. So yeah, that's so fun facts about RIIZE. And another fun fact is they are more popular for being controversial and also being a visual group than they are for the fact that they actually have talent, in my opinion, which is very sad because they have a lot of different talents that they can show to the world, which we will see right now as we dive into some of their releases since they debuted. So, are you guys ready to
Yep.
get into it?
I
Yeah.
am ready.
Okay, so first we're gonna get into. We were gonna do a dance practice. We're not gonna do a dance practice anymore. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get into a live performance. We're gonna, well, not we're gonna do a performance from their Mama 2023 performance where they performed their debut song "Get a Guitar" and then their following single "TalkSaxy." So, are y'all
Yes.
ready?
Yes.
You better be because I already pushed play. I guess they were already 6 in this performance. So, okay, this is very extra. That's Sohee,
Sohee must be, is that like a
Shotaro,
neutral name?
Sungchan.
Yeah, I guess.
Gender
I think
neutral?
it is. Yeah, I think it's gender neutral. This is Unsuk. This is Anton, aka Chanyeong. That's his Korean name. This is
Yes, I know
Wonbin,
Wonbin.
the
They
one
love
that
his hair. Like that long hair is just chef's kiss to these people.
some idols have long hair for so long that I can't even imagine them with short
Yeah.
hair, you know?
So I saw pictures of
So,
Anton's dad, and he was pretty cute back in the
mhm.
day, Mr. Yun Sang or Yun Sang, sorry. Yeah, his mom though, I've seen her in dramas. So
Oh yeah, that's another thing. His mom has been
yeah,
in dramas. I think she's like an
yeah, she was in
actress.
Princess
Yeah, so
Hours or Gung, which is like huge hit at time. Her character was annoying as fuck though, not gonna lie.
why the hell is this VCR so long? It's not. I'm not supposed to. We're not even supposed to see the VCR. We're supposed to just see the
Yeah, it's 12
performance.
minutes.
Sorry. Okay,
Oh,
here's the
okay.
performance. We've skipped into the
I was like,
performance
when is it gonna
because girl,
start?
Wow. That was a lot.
that was so unnecessary. So here's the performance. This is Wonbin. It's not just like a random person. They're also known for like, well, not known for. I made them known for this. They put their group name on all their clothes for some reason.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. Well, I mean,
Genius
yeah, I was
branding,
about
I
to say,
guess.
like,
But
people cannot forget who they are, you know? Like now, you know how I know this man plans to use his mic one day? Or like soon? Because
why?
of the way it's positioned.
Huh?
If he was lip syncing, he would have the mic right at his mouth right now. Because it wouldn't matter either way.
Interesting. I've never. Okay, I don't know the connection there.
Well, I
but
would
that
say
is
that
interesting.
basically, like, a lot of times when people lip sync, they do it really lazily. And so a lot of times they'll have the mic in like weird positions that don't make sense if you're singing live. You know what I mean? Or they'll like
Mm-hmm.
he might have his mic exactly like that, right? Where he'll be breathing into
Mm-hmm.
it, and the breathing itself will be like you'll be able to hear it. but he's not singing. So like, why do you need to breathe like into the mic now? Like you don't like. That's the kind of the connection I'm
Okay,
trying to make. Like I know it's convoluted, but
I
like
see.
those are things that I kind of pick up sometimes when I'm trying to find out if someone's singing, like actually singing or they're not.
Well, I'm about to pull a bait and switch because I'm realizing that I have the one take version of Get a Guitar in here, and I would rather us listen to that one. But TalkSaxy is also in this performance. So we'll come back to this performance, I guess. I guess we'll just
Well,
skip
can we just
around.
not listen to Talk Saxy first since it's already in here?
Yes, we can. I'm trying to figure out where when TalkSaxy comes
This
on.
is a long.
So
Okay,
we'll
that makes sense. I guess the length of it.
it's called Big Three Privilege. That's
Oh,
why.
okay.
That's why they have 12
I
minutes
mean,
of
they're saying the quiet part
performance
out
time.
loud, but okay.
So this is Talk Sexy. It is interesting that they had Wanbin open the performance though on the guitar. As you can see, Wanbin is like 4 feet tall and Sungchan is literally 6'2". So
Oh, gloves are really interesting. The
the
gloves.
what? Oh, that's so 17 coded. That part. Okay, Blackpink.
With the clap, boom, bam. All right. It's catchy though, not gonna lie. Rum, bum, bum, bum.
It's very catchy, but it's like actually I only have Talk Sexy in here for literally one like 2 lines of the whole song. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like there's 2 lines of this whole song that's like, damn, that's a good line.
I will say that like what I think SME gets really right about their vocalists is they don't have
Hmm.
multiples of the same tone. Like everybody sounds different and unique.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I agree. I mean, you see that very clearly with
Right.
EXO. Like they have somebody that sounds like everything. NCT too,
Shiny too,
really, and
yeah.
Shiny.
Even Girls' Generation.
We just end up saying
I
all
know,
their
like
group.
Girls' Generation, talk about Super Junior,
Yeah, like the moment we talk, I was like,
Shinhwa, everybody.
we might. Hold up, we're missing my part. Hold up, fuck. Sorry, excuse my language. Sorry, the one part that I love this song for, right here. Okay, sorry, y'all. That's my favorite part of
That's a
this
really good
song,
bridge.
and it gets stuck in my head.
That's a really good
Huh?
bridge.
I think that this is one of their weaker songs, in my opinion. I shouldn't be giving this opinion right now, but I just want to say that because like I was so excited to hear Sohi's part because it's so good to me.
Oh, he is very short. I'm like looking at them.
He's tiny,
Yeah.
right? Also, another thing about them is they love. So that was
Yeah.
Talk Sexy, but now we're about to listen to an actual like live without choreography, so you can see what they
Yeah.
sound like. Of Memories, which is their first song that came out, which was a pre-debut. Well, no, Siren was the first, but this was the second one, and then Get a Guitar, which was their
Oh, this is
debut
when there's
song.
7
So
members. Okay.
yes, that's another thing, another important part. The one of the members that so Sunghan was a vocal,
Oh.
so he's the one with the shorts on,
Oh, okay.
or should I
They,
say
I was like, wait, they
longs?
look real long. They're like almost his ankle. They're basically pants.
Kulaks.
Yes.
And his problem is
Okay.
that he was dating somebody or allegedly dating somebody. Is that like the extent of it?
Well, what wasn't his problem? So he had 3 scandals. The first one was they found out that he went to a love hotel with his girlfriend when he was
Ugh.
underage. Then they found out he was smoking. Then they found out that he was doing like hosting Instagram lives with other idols where they was just saying all kind of they wasn't saying nothing bad. They were just saying dumb like, just being 18, 19, 20-year olds,
Oh, okay.
That was the crazy thing is that like a lot of that stuff happened years ago, but it came back to
Of
haunt him.
course.
So goes to show
Right.
you. All right, here we are with Memories. They've just got done introducing themselves for 1 minute and 25 seconds.
That's why I knew I had time to like ask you because I figured that would be long.
They gonna start the music?
Maybe.
Okay, even they're
Oh, there it is.
confused. There it is. Okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm, I actually don't really know this song. I'm gonna be honest. All these feelings. I've never listened to this song. I'm just reading the lyrics.
I like it though.
Why does the shirt say college? Oh wait, no, it don't say college. I was about to say. Oh yeah, that's another thing. So he's the main vocal and he's a rapper in the group, and I was like, I don't think that was necessary, but
Actually, that shirt kind of reminds me of, was it Karina had a shirt that said like "send nudes," and I'm like, dude, like I know you guys know English a little bit enough to know.
come on, yeah.
Yeah, this ledge
This
shirt
song
is killing me.
is yeah, lich.
I like the chorus.
Yeah, the chorus is fun. And like every K-pop group, their songs are in a really high
Yeah,
key, at least so far, right?
Mm.
But I feel like Sohee's voice is naturally like a higher
right.
tenor, so I don't mind it as much with him. What? Is
No,
this a
I
new
think
song?
the same song because you just said memories, so I think it's the same song. I like it.
Snaps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fun
Ooh.
chorus.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was memories. Now we're gonna do. Well, he's telling you get a guitar.
Yes, which was their
And he,
debut song. Get a guitar.
he- this was
Yes.
their debut. Yeah. So the song we just listened to was a pre-debut. This is debut. And TalkSaxy came out after both of
Okay.
these.
Ah.
So I guess you can kind of see it's like a reverse like
Yeah.
growth, I guess, arc. All right.
Coachella. Yes.
In the empty room.
I feel like somebody needs to yell that at one of these lives once.
So did you. Okay. Are they gonna start the music?
It's like we're surprised when it starts.
Oh, here it
They're
is.
surprised when it starts.
Get a guitar.
Oh, okay. I remember
It's
this
a
song being very
goodbye.
groovy.
Yeah. I remember hating it when it first came out. Cause I know you know, oh baby, oh, loving the one but you in my heart. Tell me, wow, you play me like a still,
Yeah, Wadman is
baby.
definitely the dancer because he's like, I can't stop the rhythm.
It's
The
fun.
rhythm has me.
This is so funny. Y'all remember when Beyonce was in her bangs era?
Yeah,
Why did you do Sunshine the same way?
the Bayangs.
I know you know. Oh baby, baby.
I can kind of tell that they're a new group because like the older the group is, the more they move around here. They be
Uh-huh.
jumping around. Sometimes I'd be like, they look like they're right about to do cartwheels. They're very oh, this is
Mm-hmm.
cute.
So this is the main
Shikara,
dancer.
right?
Yeah.
He's so little.
He's actually like a really good dancer.
Yeah.
Like legit. So in this song he has his little Tame and Replay dance break that we were talking about earlier. Doesn't somebody sound like he could be in like a High School Musical?
Oh, Jimmy, you're a little like choppy. Just repeat what you said.
Oh,
That's okay.
sorry. I was saying, doesn't So he sound like he could be in High School
He's
Musical?
definitely got that voice. I kind of find them kind of endearing though,
Yeah,
as a new group
Who-
though, even though they're not
Yeah, they
seasoned.
seem
they're cute.
Yeah.
they're cute, right? They have like some energy, is what it is. It's like so that was Get a Guitar. Now we're gonna come to their newest release, which is called Impossible. It was released literally a couple weeks ago, like in April, no, like last week, April 12th or something. And another thing to note about this song is all this music we just listened to came out in 2023, except for all of it came out in 2023. So this is the first song that we're listening to. They had another song in between this called Love 119, but it's trash. So we're gonna listen to Impossible. because I'm biased. So I'm gonna be really curious to see how y'all feel about this one. This is the music video version,
Okay.
so let's get into it. Oh, Wonbin is blonde this era,
Kind of
so
disappointed about that. I think
Yeah.
I don't think blonde works for everybody. So I
okay.
mean, it's not bad.
That's certainly an
Yeah,
opinion.
but
Yeah, for him, I think it works, but it doesn't work for everybody, like you said.
I want to see it outside of this cap that he's wearing here. Oh shoot, it's not him. All right.
So yeah.
Hmm.
Oh,
These outfits are so
I
good.
was
This song is ugh.
not expecting this song after those two.
Can't lose, can't lose,
You know
can't
what? I
lose.
appreciate
It's
that they are doing
impossible.
something different.
Yeah,
Ash, stop being
No,
shady.
I'm
he
serious.
meant
Like,
it.
boy groups seriously tend to
Oh,
do like the same freaking sound, which was the major problem with Fortune. I
yeah, that's
appreciate that
true.
this is like dance music.
I love this choreo too. Moving on. Also, they get naked a lot, which is something that's very different from boy groups. Boy groups usually are trying to cover up, so it's
Especially
interesting
for
to
a
see.
new group. Like I feel like it's something that they kind of grew into. Like you've been in the industry for 5 years.
Hmm.
Okay, time to get shirtless.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's impossible.
I actually really like the change of location. I thought they were going to be
Hmm.
inside for the whole time, but I really love the shot of them
Hmm.
outside with the sun.
Hmm.
Huh.
It's impossible. Our baby Anton.
He looks like
You
a
know what's
baby.
weird? I don't know if I'm just weird but when you said that Anton was from America, I don't know why I
Hmm.
automatically assumed that he was biracial. Especially with the name Anton too. I
No.
think like I don't know for whatever reason I was like, okay, his dad's famous, his mom's white. That's why I actually looked him up, and I'm like, oh, he's Korean.
Oh
Okay.
no, he's Korean. They make fun of him though because he has like, even though he's fully Korean, I feel like the members always say like he doesn't. He has like very like prominent features. Is There's a word for it in Korean? It's hard to translate, but basically prominent features is kind of like the easy way to understand it. So they don't make fun of him in like a mean way, but more in a like, oh Anton, you look so different. You got like a big nose, like that kind of thing.
Oh, okay. I thought it was more like if you have Jamaican parents and you go back to Jamaica, well, you don't go back to Jamaica, but like you go to Jamaica even to visit family or whatever, like they usually call you foreign. So I wasn't sure if
Hmm.
that was kind of like the idea there. Like there's a difference, you know what I mean?
No, yeah, they just released the behind the scenes of this, and they actually were like partying with those people, and then the cameraman was like, "Do a dance break," basically.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Netizens, their fans love that part
They
of the
would.
choreo. I'm like, okay,
Well,
Breeze,
I feel
like
like
chill. They have like,
sorry.
no, I was just gonna say they have the most girlfriend stands I've ever seen. Like their stands all want to like date them.
Yeah.
But anyway, what were you
Oh
gonna
no, no.
say? I'm sorry, Nat. So that was
I was saying
impossible.
that basically that I was surprised by that like sensual movement because everything was so like high energy, kind of aggressive, you know. And then there's just like one area where they and I know that they highlighted it for a reason, obviously, where it's like very sensual, like body rolls and stuff. I was like, oh, okay. It's like it stands out, and I can see why people would like even if they obviously girls who like them or want to date them or whatever is gonna notice it, but I think like anybody watching this MV is gonna like take that in too. Like it just it's so prominent in the dance. But yeah, that was RIIZE. I think they're cute. I like them. I don't think that they make. I haven't heard a bad song yet. I'll be honest. I'm not sure like if they're growers or what. But I think for me, my favorite song so far, I think was Get a Guitar. I really like I think it was really
Wow.
funky and really fun. And I like that I know in this performance specifically, I like how they like the song is you think the song is done and they start dancing after. I really like that part. So uh,
Yeah, I like them too.
Okay, okay.
I feel like they have, I don't know, they have like a charisma and they feel
yeah.
like they're already starting to kind of gel into like an identity of some sort. I don't know, I just feel like the boy groups before that we can't even remember is because they just seem so like soulless. And I don't know. I feel like watching
Mm,
them, they have some like weight to them, you know, like
They have a
so.
good
yeah.
base.
I think
They have
you
a
said
good
what?
like base or baseline. You know what I mean? Like we had a
Mhm.
big discussion about no talent.
Mhm.
And or like,
Mhm.
lacking certain aspects of the talent that is needed, for a lot of people for performing or being an artist. And I feel like this group at the very least has a solid base. They have dancers, they have singers and vocalists, they have charisma, so I think it like when you have a solid base like that, the music doesn't necessarily have to be 1,000 all the time, because the quality is always going to be there, right? And I think that
Mhm.
there like a lot of,
Yeah.
and like hopefully, it's only going to get better with time. Like as they improve, it's going to
Yeah.
get better. So I think that's going to be really exciting to watch.
Well, yeah. I have a couple things to say before we wrap this up. Is one, Impossible is my favorite song by
Okay.
them.
Mhm.
This song is so addictive. It's like I just take me to the European gay dance club right now. Like, it just gives me that. And so I love that. I want to say you mentioned too, like they have a good base and like there's something about them. And I felt that too. And what I think it is, and I think it's a similar thing with some of like how I started liking other groups, like fifth gen groups so far, is when I watch their content, it is so clear to me that they want to be respected as artists. Like they want to be like Wambin has always got his guitar, like doing something with that guitar. Anton is always like looking at how to perfect his craft so he stays singing. That boy is like, do y'all know that meme when it's like if you get two singers in a room, they just will have a sing off? That's so he whenever he steps in a room with another singer. Like they have like this passion that I feel like they really want to be performers more than any boy group that I've really ever liked. Like maybe besides Shiny, like I can see that in them. And so I really am attracted to that and their music. I feel like SM just gives them music that really fits them. And even though every single song we listened to sounded very different, it still felt like not unnatural coming from them. I feel like they're only going to grow and get better. They're already like pretty like in terms of their talent and skills. I think that a lot like everybody who's a main at what they do is already kind of already there. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, nobody's better than Shotaro right now. Like, no active boy group has a better dancer than Shotaro. That's just the facts. And I don't even like Shotaro like that. He's not even my favorite. But I just am getting really into them, and watching their behind the scenes content is really refreshing because they don't have that like we're just a chaotic boy group and look at our personalities. It's more like a they refer to each other as artists. I noticed that. They were like, when we were trainees, Shotaro was the first artist we met. Like, they don't usually use the word idol. And I think that that's very intentional with this group. And I think SM is marketing them that way too, because they just had a surprise release. In my opinion, it could have been promoted. It didn't seem like it was because I didn't see nothing about it. But their mini album just released today. There's 5 songs on it. Impossible's one of them. Siren is another one. Those have already been released. But one of the songs is an R&B song that sounds like it would be on an EXO album. It's really good. And they are just very
They don't
like
seem fake. Yeah, they don't seem
serious.
fake or performative. Like
Right.
sometimes K-pop groups are try to be so perfect, and they just it's like they're just going.
Or they try to go way out of their
Yeah.
personality. Like you have somebody who's naturally very introverted who's pretending to be like, look at me, I'm just like a goofball and I'm doing all that. Like I never really liked groups like that. Like all of my favorite groups, Shiny, TXT, they're not really like they're kind of chill and they just kind of do whatever they feel like. And if they feel like being chaotic, they did that day they
Mhm.
will, but they don't force it. And I think that with Rise is there's this a lot of people say they give off a vibe of being arrogant and I'm like I think they just take themselves their career very seriously, which you
Right.
should.
Mhm.
It's your job, you know. So anyway, in this segment we usually give like feedback and we know, as you can see, we didn't really have none because this is I think they don't seem like a group that just debuted. For the most part they do seem like they're on an upward trajectory. And I'm just excited to see what happens next. And I just want to thank Ash and Nat for humoring me and listen to another one of my unhinged introductions of a new group that already like it has a big fan base, but I still want to put the spotlight on
No,
it. So
it
yeah.
was good, and I can say I like a new boy group now. So yeah.
That's like the biggest compliment that Ash can give you. So if she likes your music and you're a boy
Yeah,
group, let alone a fifth gen boy
right.
group, yeah, you deserve that, queen.
Exactly. She's a tough cookie. So,
All right.
yes, thank you for introducing us to RIIZE. I think that I do want to just quickly say that I think that RIIZE got a bit of the short end of the stick with another debut so close to them and being sandwiched between
Yeah.
NCTs. But it's good to know that they
I
can.
personally think Wish got the shorter end of that stick because another fun fact about
Mm,
Rise is the original lineup. Half of the members, so the Young Line and Wish, was actually supposed to go to Rise,
mm,
Mhm.
and the two oldest in Rise were supposed to go to Wish. But if you think about it, it kind of makes sense that it ended up the way
yeah.
that it did, especially since the two oldest member in Rise are both like they're like 7 years
Then the
older. No, they're like 10 years. No, it's like 7 or 8 years older than the Maknaes
oh
and
yeah,
Wish. So
Mhm.
the age difference would have just been too
right.
obvious. And they also are like more seasoned idols. Like they've been training for a long time. Whereas Sakuya and Ro from from Wish, they only trained for like a year, like
Mm,
Mhm.
seriously. So the talent difference would have been too
yeah.
obvious, I think. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Okay. Oh no,
what are
I
you
was
gonna
gonna say
say?
that I just thought that if they do like NCT tours, then which are more likely than a RIIZE tour, uh, it might be like more beneficial for like Wish to go and do that kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't know how they're promoting them,
Wait, what do you
but
mean?
I
I'm so
think that RIIZE
confused.
is strong enough, even with such a tight sort of debut date with another group. I think that RIIZE is definitely strong enough to like, and Wish is
Well, they're
and
different
Wish is
too. Like
also just strong enough to be on its own too. I think they
Wish is definitely like a different concept, and it's more
yeah
youthful and more like age appropriate to the younger members of
yeah
Wish, which is fine. Do I wish Hyungline was in Rise? It could go either way because I think that they're good as they are, like no matter which group they're in. But like it's very clear that SM is trying to make a difference
yeah
between by having Rise do a music video where they're getting drunk and partying and like are half naked with women. I think that they're trying to make a different like atmosphere around Rise than like NCT Wish, rightfully, which makes
right.
sense, right?
Right.
So
No, I
yeah.
mean, yeah, I think it's good. I think that, both groups are strong enough to stand on their own anyway. So they definitely don't have any problems with that. And they can do encore stages. So, hey, we're already in the plus. So, anyways, yes, that is the episode. Thank you
Ooh.
for, to the listeners for listening to what we had to say. And if you had any opinions, thoughts, questions, anything, you know how to reach us. NotYourAverageNetizens@gmail.com, on Twitter at Netizens, on Instagram and Facebook at Not Your Average Netizens. Thanks to Ash and Jimin for another fun episode. Any shout outs before we go? No? Okay.
Shout outs to I have shout outs. I want to shout out to all of my favorite members of my favorite groups, who I am not fans of, by the way, because you won't catch me putting that label on myself. Shout outs to Impossible by Rise, to Honestly by Rise, the song on the new album. That song is crazy. We have to listen to that album. Shout outs to Ash and Nat. Shout outs to Jay because I'm listening to an episode where it was me, Nat, and Jay, and it's really funny. Shout outs to Change 2561, which is a Thai like production studio. They're coming out with a new drama and it centers around a Katay guy. And for those who don't know, Katay is kind of like roughly translated to like ladyboy, but it's not in a derogatory way. That's just how it's called in
Mm,
Thailand. It doesn't mean it like a
right.
bad thing. And I think it's very innovative and iconic. You never see those like type of roles get that type of recognition. Shout outs to Big Ocean
Yeah.
for
Woo.
debuting and literally killing it. Like their song is cute and they are like literally I'm just amazed. Like the fact that they are so good, like I'm really amazed. Like shout outs to them. I know they work really hard and they talk about working hard. So
Yeah, it's
I'm
crazy
done.
that like they're doing Hope, and I know Hope is like the SM Town version of that song, and the original song is that group. What was it called? HOT. It's an HOT song that they reformatted for SM Town. that people have been singing for like decades now. But it's such a fresh spin on it, and I like the message of the song. So I think it's like a perfect fit for them. But yeah, shout out to Big Ocean. Shout out to Sakura, who is going to be sitting out. I mean, it's not a shout out more so. It's just like, I hope you are doing better, I guess, because she's sitting out for an indefinite period of time for some sort of issue. It's not very clear.
From
Yeah,
LeSSERAFIM?
it's not very clear what it is, but like, it's been reported that she is going to be sitting out for some time. And yeah, hopefully she's, doing okay. Times are rough. And yeah, I shout out to here's an anti shout out to Korea Boo. I have Korea Boo blocked. How did they even get to my tweet to use it in a piece? I don't know. Probably, obviously, they logged out and whatever. But still, if I have you blocked, that's for a reason. Don't use my stuff. That's all I gotta say about that. Because don't do that. You and all K-pop are not great sites. So, shout out to Sumbi. Sumbi, not as problematic as those two. And obviously,
That's what I
Pomona. And
use for my articles.
I know this is controversial. You might want to cut it out. But shout out to all the protesters right now. A lot of stuff's going on. But, freedoms include the rights to protest for the most part on, public spaces. And, they are fairly civil. And I think it's egregious that, snipers are being called in. But also, too, when it comes to students, activists, and activism on campuses, for the most part, they have been on the right side of history. So, like, let's just remember that as, we continue into 2024 and all the shit that's happening right now. But yeah, that's all I want to say.
Wait, I wanted to update a shout out. Oh wait, it's not really a shout out. It's just a funny tweet. And somebody tweeted, they said, "Nah, it's crazy how Bang PD has everything in HYBE, like witchcraft, payola system, cult rituals, minors, manipulation, but vocal lessons."
I feel like he saw SM focus real hard on that and was like, "Ooh, let's do the opposite of what they're doing." Like,
I have a shout out. I want to shout out to Extraordinary Heroes. I interviewed them a couple of weeks ago. I'm gonna have a piece that's going up this week, and they're a great interview. Great, nice guys, and gave really good answers. And yeah, they've got some new music that's coming out. And if you're into K-pop rock, go out and listen to it. Yeah.
yeah. Woo! You should definitely check out Ash's articles. They're very informative. Unlike
Yes.
our tweets. Just go support Ash. Yeah. Anyways, okay, we're gonna go. Hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye.
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 Just tryna do more. Supernova with you. Yeah, she knows I'm feeling.